And we're live. Ladies, gents, boys, and girls, welcome back. It's been a minute to a show about shows. I'm one of your two hosts, of course. I'm Dutch McAllister, or am I? I'm JPO Jordan Pierce Owens with Dutch McAllister. Dutch, how you been?
I've been doing well, partner. We've taken a break again. Because but you know what though, we have a reason for it. Number one, I'm lazy. Number two, I'm lazy. Number three, there hasn't been a lot of crap going on out there in the world.
The original break was because there was nothing out.
There was nothing out. So that's what I was getting at. But I'm also lazy.
But now we have a lot of things to review because we were lazy
and we're also going to give you a bonus episode of the Oscars next week. So it'll be fun this week. We're going to give you a bonus episode, and then we're going to try to get back on track with watching movies that actually matter. Right? Isn't that what they think here in this show?
I'm hoping so, man.
So yeah, I went to the theaters recently. You've been to the theaters recently. People are starting to get back into the swing post COVID because even though we're still in the swing of COVID, it's kind of winding down at this time. Even our government's saying so. So, but still be safe out there. But hey, other than that, anything else going on with you? Anything exciting? Anything awesome that I should know about?
Nah.
Yeah, okay. See, I just live vicariously through you because there's nothing ever exciting happening with the Dutchmeister. Yes, I said Dutchmeister. Fuck me, I suck. Anyway, let us just dive into the reviews because we have some great movies.
Well, first, let's not forget to mention it's episode 97. The Jackass lives near the Uncharted Nightmare Alley. I gotta give a shout out to your lovely title.
Yeah, it was better than the old man is close to retiring. That was what was about to come out. But no, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen after 100? We don't know. I do have a special guest host for the 100th show, by the way.
Not Jizzle, is it?
No. A special guest host. I won't be here because I'm on vacation, but my guest host will be here.
Is it El Guapo?
It's not El Guapo, trust me. Somebody totally you've never met.
Who it is, Dutch.
Oh, you will love who comes in for the 100th episode of the evening. But let's just dive into the reviews.
See, folks, I don't trust him because it's not like we have a date set for the 100th episode. We don't have the 98th episode set yet. So the fact that he's on vacation at the exact moment of 100 means something's up. I'm sorry, continue. I was having a win.
Why? Thanks for breaking the fourth wall down there, Jordan. No. I have some plans for you. You're gonna love this host. All we can say is it a he or a she? We don't know. I'm thinking it's gonna be a he. We're ironing some plans out with those individuals, so it'll be fun. Trust me. Believe in me. It's always good. You've got to believe in me at least once in this show. Out of the 97 shows, you have to believe in one.
I'll think about it.
Okay, so anyway, let's get into this. The first film we're going to review is Nightmare Alley. An ambitious carnival man with a talent for manipulating people with a few well-chosen words hooks up with a female psychiatrist who is even more dangerous than he is. This stars Bradley Cooper, Cate Blanchett, Rooney Mara, Toni Collette, Willem Dafoe, Richard Jenkins, Ron Perlman, David Strathairn, and Mary Steenburgen. I enjoyed this film. I knew where it was going. Guillermo del Toro, again, directing this. I believe he also wrote it, if I'm not mistaken, or did somebody else write this one? I'm not sure. But I know Guillermo del Toro was the director of this film noir style film. I found that Bradley Cooper was just the good, one of his best roles he's had since the what was that one with that Lady Gaga lady? What was her name?
Star is Born. Come on.
A Star is Born. Yes. So yes, or Licorice Pizza. But Bradley Cooper, was stellar. Cate Blanchett plays the a nightmare of a woman that you would ever want to have on your side. And also, I just found this movie just Willem Dafoe again puts on such a brilliant performance as the Carnival Barker. It shows me he has so much more to give. Even when he was with the Spider-Man film, he brought out layers that he didn't have a chance to bring out during the Sam Raimi years. I just found everyone in this film brought some fantastic things. The twist at the end also is a very good one. So I enjoyed this film a lot. What did you think about this one?
I'm a little more torn than you are. I think it looks wonderful. You can't deny that Del
Yeah.
Toro has an eye for vision, even dating to a kind of more fluffier fare like Hellboy to Crimson Peak. This is definitely way slower, like a Crimson Peak. I thought this thing does kind of meander for a little bit. It is a slow burn. But there's some great performances in this. Again, Cooper really envelops a very fully formed, multi-layered character here. Even his last scene and his last little dialogue, I thought was really good. Blanchett is the devilishly delectable, is what I'll say for her character here. I like some of the stuff with her and everyone here. Steenburgen in a role, Jenkins. Everyone's here to play and really good here. So I do recommend it. I do like it. Maybe not as much as you, but I do like it.
Well, I'm not like giving it a four snowflakes or anything like that. I just found it's refreshing to see a nice film noir, which are usually a real slow burn on most occasions. But this one I gave 3.5. That I think is good for what it is. And we'll talk more about that through the Oscar show as well. But I found, like I said, it's suitable. Guillermo does a great job again, like you said, making it beautiful as always. I thought it was a very good film to watch. 3.5 though on the snowflake meter.
All right, so kind of like I imagined. I'm at 3. I'm in an even 3 stars. More good than bad. I think if you enjoyed, especially like a Crimson Peak, I think you'll definitely enjoy this. I think this has a little bit more to even offer, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm not fully on the hog here, but I do like it. I do appreciate a lot of what he's going for here. So 3 stars.
Okay.
All right, you jackass. Let's move on to Jackass Forever. Celebrate the joy of a perfectly executed shot to the groin as Johnny, Steve-O, and the rest of the gang return alongside some newcomers for one final round of hilarious, widely absurd, and often dangerous displays of stunts and comedy. And probably no longer one final round because it's making money. Starring Johnny Knoxville, Steve-O, Chris Pontius, Jason Acuna, Eric Andre, Tony Hawk, Colson Baker, and Spike Jones. I don't love Jackass as much as some others. I actually saw this in theaters because my neighbor Justin, he's a big Jackass guy. He was even ready when like the camera guy almost threw up. He's like, "Look, it's the camera guy that's always throwing up, right?" And I'm like, "I don't fucking remember. I don't care that much. I'm not
That
even
is a fan. That is a fan.
sure if I had seen a Jackass movie from beginning to end. They've always been like, oh, it's 2 a.m., it's on MTV. I'll throw it on for a little bit, laugh, and kind of move on. Again, in a completely different way, talking from Del Toro, I think if you're a Jackass fan, you will smile and laugh a decent amount throughout it. Some stuff was better than others. I was surprised, and even my friend mentioned this. It doesn't really have a great finale. I thought, which was kind of weird, unlike some of the others. But it's Jackass. Like it's giving you what you think it's gonna give you. So this is not gonna be the one that's gonna win you over if you're not a fan. It's not gonna be the one that loses you if you are a fan. What do you got?
I did not get to see this one. I know we tried. I tried and I tried, but I went to see the next film underneath. But before I got to see this one, so but I'm hoping within what's funny though, Paramount Plus should have this on shortly after I think a 45-day window. This should be on Paramount Plus short. So
okay, so I didn't know I was the only Jackass reviewing this. So yeah,
that's not right. It happens.
A girl comes along for the ride, which is pretty cool too. She going through some crazy shit. And that scene actually with them as a band is the one and only Bam Margera scene. He does pop up once. 3 stars. I can't feel like I can give it. No way can I personally give it any more. But I also wouldn't give it any less. Like I said, I feel like it hits kind of what you want for the most part.
Can I
There are several chuckles.
would I spoil the thing if I ask you a question and you can tell me if I'm gonna ask this question. You can spoil it if you want. I don't care. But if you want to, the bear scene, the one they keep propagating in the preview, is that a good scene? When they bring in the bear.
Yeah, I'd say yeah. I mean, there's laughs in it. Yeah. I mean, it's not doing anything crazy that you're gonna go like, holy shit, they did that. But like, they do fuck with the bear. So
Oh, okay, so that's I was just wondering if there was bawling involved. That's just my opinion. A little bear swipe.
no,
Next thing
if
you
you're
know.
really looking for a disturbing bear scene, The Revenant.
Oh, okay. Okay. Watch the Reverend by disturbing fantasy. I like that. Okay. So 3 stars, 3 snowflakes is what you gave it. Correct? You said?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just want to make sure. So I will get a chance to see this. I promise you I will. And I'll review it on the show. The next film up, I got a chance to see this. I happened to get off work late one night, this past Thursday, I think it was, and it was 7 o'clock. And what was I going to do? Go home or watch it on IMAX? And this was Uncharted. I watched on IMAX. This is everyone's favorite video game. I love this video game series personally. Nathan Drake is a wisecracking, and his wisecracking partner Victor Sully Sullivan embark on a dangerous quest to find the great treasure never found, while also tracking clues that may lead to Nate's long lost brother. This has Tom Holland, Mark Wahlberg, Sophia Taylor Ali, Toddy Gabrielle, and Antonio Banderas. I like this film. I find it, it's a little flawed, but at the same time, I was very kind of curious of how they were going to have Mark Wahlberg, come out as Sully. It turns out, he's a pretty decent Sully, and Tom Holland is a great young Nathan Drake. He's just one franchise into another. This young kid is got himself tied up in a great in some good series if they do well going forward. I love, like I said, they do portray some of the scenes in the video games. There's a few Easter eggs. I will not spoil those. I did grin and in one scene in which we saw something. I'm not going to tell you what I saw. I'll explain it to some people later. But I will. I just found it all fascinating. The action is what it is. It is very action packed. You care about the characters. You just feel like it's a great comedy action buddy pick. Again, a little violent, of course, but again, I enjoyed this immensely. I gave, and I know I'm speaking higher than I'm going to give it a rating of, as always, but 3.5 snowflakes is what I'm giving this film. It could have gotten 4. I just had to back it down a little bit due to the fact there's a few things that I didn't agree with. But again, it's just because me being a persnickety video game guy on this one thing. And so I agree. I see this as a good future, franchise going forward. I think it's going to do well, and like I said, I think the chemistry between Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland is probably through the roof for both being on screen together. So, Jordan, did you get a chance to see this one?
No, no. This was definitely the kind of movie that I kind of wanted to hear yours or other people's opinions first. I didn't like the casting choices of either. He doesn't look like a Sully to me. But
Yeah.
I am open to it just being a fun movie, so I'll get to it sooner or later.
Yeah, you know what? If you want to go watch it, I will watch it with you again. I am not against it. 3.5 snowflakes is not bad, and it's a very good film for just a good action comedy. Actually, it's like a comedy action film. It's serious when it needs to be, but it has a lot of good comedic moments, and both play off very well with each other on there.
So I didn't see that Wahlberg, but I saw this Wahlberg. Joe Bell. the true story of a small town working class father who embarks on a solo walk across the U.S. to crusade against bullying after his son is tormented in high school for being gay. This stars Mark Wahlberg, Reed Miller, Connie Brin, Max Jenkins, and good old Gary Sinise popping up. Probably actually my favorite scenes in the movie is between Wahlberg and Sinise. I like this. I feel like it's one of those kind of like Dear Evan Hansen that it's well intended and it just takes a minute to really find its voice. There's also another part to the story that I knew going into it that I don't know if they're trying to hide in certain trailers. So there is another little twist to the story that I think is kind of an odd twist. Really, when you get into it, I don't know if it was necessary, but I kind of see where they were going for it. I just don't know if it completely worked. So I liked it. Like I said, I just don't know if it had just enough of that impactful script to bring it to that next level. But I do like it enough to give it 3 stars. Like I said, I think Reed Miller is actually really good in it here, and Wahlberg actually I will give credit. While he has not always like stuff like what that Paramount Plus movie. I'm not even remember what it was called with him and Chiwetel Ejiofor.
No, yeah, that film, that
Yeah,
disaster.
like he doesn't elevate that. I do actually feel like he's actually really trying here. I can see it why he picked the script to kind of try to stick himself into it. So I did like it. I don't think you didn't get to this, did you?
No, I keep for some reason dancing around it. I'm not sure why, but I will take a gander at it. You gave it a decent score, so I will take a gander at it.
All right.
See, this is what I love about sometimes when we don't get to see the same film at the same time. Because if you're on the bench on watching one, you might push us over. You can push us over to get it. So that's what I like about our camaraderie on this show. The next film is I Want You Back, Jordan. I really do. I really want you back. Will you take me back? I don't know. But anyway, the next one we're covered is I Want You Back over there on Prime. Peter and Emma thought they were on the precipice of life's biggest moments: marriage, kids, and a house in the suburbs until their respective partners dumped them. Horrified to learn that the loves of their lives have already moved on, Peter and Emma hatch a plan to win back their exes with unexpected results. This stars Charlie Day, Jenny Slate, Scott Eastwood, Jenna Rodriguez, Manny Jacinto, and Mason Gooden. Gooding, sorry, Gooden. Goodine. I want to hear you first, and then I'll jump in on this
one. Okay, good. I was going to say, come on, rom-com, Jim.
Rom-com. I did watch this. I'll tell you more about it.
Speaking of sometimes stars elevating this, I think this is a good example of I liked it more probably based on who's in it. I'm a fan of pretty much everyone in this. In fact, this movie brought my fandom up a little bit with some people. It stayed the same for Charlie Day. I'm a huge It's Always Sunny guy. Fun seeing him in more of a leading role. I really enjoy Jenny as well. She was a short-lived SNL cast member, kind of infamous for saying the F word on her debut episode. But she's been great too, whether it's guest stars in Parks and Rec, and she was formerly on Big Mouth, and she's always a welcome addition as well. And Scott Eastwood, I actually thought had a lot of charm in this too. I feel like we've never seen Scott Eastwood to this level. At least I haven't. He's always kind of been more of a brooding guy. Smaller parts like in the first Suicide Squad. Pete Davidson cameo, by the way, it pops up in this. I guess it was the director of his Hulu movie. That makes sense. And our friend from The Good Place, Manny Jacinto.
Yes. I enjoy his character too.
I did, man. And like I said, I didn't find myself. I'm gonna go with another 3-star because I didn't find myself laughing that much. But I did enjoy it. You know what I mean? It was never really one that ever brought me to like a big ball gust of laugh. But I did enjoy it. They are kind of doing some shitty things because no one's really bad in this. Like the exes aren't really bad, and they're good lying to everybody, trying to get their way. But they know what they're doing all along as well. And there's enough charm to where, if you got Amazon Prime, pop it in. It's a good rom-com. It's a February release. Why not? Check it out. 3 stars. What about you, rom-com Dutch?
I enjoyed this immensely. I found Charlie Day to be quite charming. Usually, I find him get a little grating, but I think he, in this role, he did what he should have done, and that is calm himself down and play a part. There are some scenes I like the going after the after club scene with Pete Davidson. I did love that whole scene a lot. Whenever you had the kid from the OC as the dad come home, I can't
Yes.
remember
Okay, I do really
McKenzie.
like that scene.
Yeah, McKenzie. Yeah, last name McKenzie. I can't remember his first
I
name,
think Ben.
but Ben McKenzie from the OC. He comes in, and
Yeah,
I
great
just thought it
work.
was just
Great work of like a 1 minute scene for him. Yeah.
absolutely. I just thought it was fabulous. He just looks over, at the kid because and I just like. I honestly, I just smiled. I didn't laugh like you said,
Potpourri?
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of things, the cannonballs and into the hot tub, but yeah, I just found it a very well paced film. Is a will they ever see the love in front of themselves that they should belong
I
together?
will say, very
Um,
contrived ending, very
yes, very.
cutesy, but man, 12 different things go slightly different. That doesn't happen. Just
Yeah,
saying.
it happens at the end, but what I'm saying is during that period, you're kind of looking at both of them and saying, look, you guys are perfect for each other. Will you or will you not get together? So that's part of that. Will they succeed
But
in
I also watched it
sabotaging?
going, Charlie Day's also kind of perfect for Genesis Rodriguez.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Everybody is what it is. There's a scene in the brunch scene, in the early brunch scene, when Scott Eastwood's character is breaking up with Jenny Slate. That I swear to you, I saw. I know he is his son, but there was a scene where he was squinting like this, and he reminded me so much of his dad. Right then and there, I saw Clint Eastwood come out of Scott Eastwood by just glinting at Jenny's character. But yeah, I found it charming all the way through. I smiled. The way they handled their breakups were realistic and not over the top. How some act like they get overzealous. Technically, who hasn't got completely plastered after they've been dumped, or gone through some grief, cried themselves to sleep. Who hasn't done that, right? But yeah, I enjoyed this film immensely. I will. I just like I said, I can't say it enough. You should have loved the fact that they had Little Shop of
Yeah, I was saying,
Horrors.
shout out to Little Shop of Horror reference. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I knew you would enjoy that a lot as well. I'm using the word immensely. I don't know why. It must be my word of the day from my calendar.
You're immensely
Um,
using immensely too much.
Yes, 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 yes. But altogether, I gave this a bigger review than you. I gave it 4 snowflakes. For an Amazon Prime film, it is well worth it if you have it. I don't know if it's well worth the uptick in price for Amazon or anything, but everything goes up anymore. All our streaming services are starting to go up in price.
I got that Netflix email.
Yeah, well, I got that lovely when I turned on my Netflix. It said,
Oh, yeah, just both. Yeah.
yeah, do you want to upgrade or update your terms of agreement? And I'm like, I really don't want to, but what are my choices? I want to watch this show. So I turned it on. Yeah, so but yeah, I at the end of the day, 4 snowflakes, 4 I want you back. I just found everybody played the tone just right, and it wasn't an over the top rom com like some where they could have gone, but they didn't. It was perfectly toned.
Alrighty. Well, we might have to redo a previous list because I think I have a new top 10 movies of last year because we're going to talk Licorice Pizza. The story of Alana Kane and Gary Valentine growing up, running around, and going through the treacherous navigation of first love in the San Fernando Valley, 1973. This stars Alana Haim, Cooper Hoffman, Sean Penn, Bradley Cooper, Tom Waits, Benny Safdie, Skylar Gisondo, Mary Elizabeth Ellis, and John Michael Higgins. This is one that we actually got together for in our good old show about show mandate. Well, what'd you think?
Ah, brother. I enjoyed it. You're right. I just looked at my top 10. I would have to say number 10 gets shoved out. That's No Time to Die. And And my Green Knight, which was number 3, is pushed down to number 4, and right there is Licorice Pizza in my top 3. I enjoyed this a lot. Again, an Anderson film that doesn't feel like it's 4 hours long. Isn't an Anderson film. His the way he does his movements. And we talked about this, where it'll take forever for him to move from point A to point B sometimes gets on your nerves, but in the way the one shot camera works on this one, it does well. We talked about the comb scene in the very beginning where he first meets his love interest. Just beautifully done. I love the fact that we're seeing a young a young Hoffman, Philip Seymour Hoffman's child, uh, you know, to fill the void of his father. Basically, he has this charm and the ability that his dad has or had when he graced the films. I just, oh man, this film is so good. I just loved it. The scene with Maya Rudolph, only one scene. I wanted to see more about that character. I still want to see that character, my friend, in another movie. I don't know why, but I still do. Thinking about that's one scene to me, or just the way she was in it brought me like I really want more. The agent, when she was giving her little diatribe about her being a little pit bull, of an actress, and it's great because she has the Jewish nose, and it's just an unbelievable scene. Again, extreme close-ups abound in this film, it's just the chemistry between the two leads. Um, is just remarkable to be able to capture something so good within it. Alina Hamm and Cooper Hoffman, unbelievable performances for I think both of their debuts, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I know this is Cooper Hoffman's first, big major debut. Bradley Cooper, I loved the way he played his character of Barbara Streisand. I mean Barbara Streisand, Barbara Streisand, right? Barbara Streisand, guy who, the funny little bit about him is that the guy that Bradley Cooper portrays asked, Anderson to make him like a complete jerk. Don't make him nice like he was. He just wants him to make him like a complete jerk, and so he acquiesced in that department. The cast all along is just unbelievable. You see Sean Penn come through, and I don't like Sean Penn. I really do not, but I liked him in this little tiny bit that he was in. And what did you think about this before I give you anything else? Just tell me what you thought, my friend.
I no man, you stole the words out of my mouth. You said a lot of the phrases I had for it. I love this from the opening scene. It's good dialogue with a great cast. The opening scene that's felt like a one shot to a large degree. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but it was a great scene. The way they meet, it jumps you right into the first time they ever met. The fantastic scene later on, when they take the big old truck and they're trying to get out of Cooper's house and Cooper finds them and like an actual like almost an action packed scene because then they gotta get it backwards and without going more into it, not to spoil it, but yeah, there's just a lot of great moments here. I think Cooper owns it when he's in it too. I can see why some people say it's a snub for best supporting actor because well he's only in like literally those two scenes or whatever. He's in it, man. And you even said Sean Penn having a little bit of fun and flair, something we haven't seen in quite a while, years, decades, maybe. I'd like Sean Penn in this. Tom Waits popping up.
Yeah.
Really fun Tom Waits performance here as well. You got some of the Haim sisters here. I mentioned I really like Skylar Gizzano. He's on Righteous Gemstones. He's been on a lot of things. He's one of the first people that almost takes away the love of Alana away from Cooper and whatnot. So yeah, I really like this movie a lot. Like you said, I haven't looked at the top 10 recently, but when I did look at it, I remember thinking I think it would have been in my top 5 as well, if I could go back and whatnot. Which I do. I keep it updated all the time as far as our show wise. So yeah, I like this movie a lot. Only downfall is that I don't really know why they had to make her so older and him a little younger. That is a little troublesome. but like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a damn fine movie. I think it does definitely take its runtime. PTA is not about rushing things, but for the most part here, it works, and it works to a tremendous degree.
Yeah, and I agree. I forgot about the age difference. Yeah, she's what 28, he's what 16. But again, I guess that was
I don't know what 20,
yeah 20, well 25, 28. I'm not sure how old, but
regardless,
I'm just saying.
too much. It's a little too much.
Yeah. But you know what? I guess that was okay in the 60s, early 70s. I guess. I guess I don't know. But I gave it 4.5 snowflakes. It was a near masterpiece. By by PWS, and I just thought it was pretty good.
And yes, by the way, I forgot to say, I did fact check. It's their debut performances. I think she was a dancer in one of Andy Samberg's spoof videos, and then that's it. And he's been in nothing.
Okay.
So tremendous debuts, hitting it out of the friggin' park. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if
Oscar
PTA
snubs.
auditioned them together or what, but he found some good gold with these two. And 4.5 for me as well. 4.5 out of 5. Not a score I give away a lot too. I'm a stickler on my 4s and 5s, but it's a 4.5
Yeah,
for me.
absolutely. You are kind of greedy when
I
it
am
comes to
greedy.
the.
I've noticed that a lot on Letterboxd. Find me on Letterboxd, and I've noticed with my friends, I'm usually the guy that's like, oh, I don't know about it, 4. It's 3.5.
Okay, the next film we're going to talk about had a high Oscar buzz, but it didn't really do much. I don't think. But Tick Tick Boom, on the cusp of his 30th birthday, Jonathan Larson, a promising young theater composer, navigates love, friendship, and the pressures of life as an artist in NYC. This has Andrew Garfield, Robert De Jesus, or to Jesus. I'm not sure how you want to say that. Alexandra Shipp, Vanessa Hudgens, and Bradley Whitford. This over on Netflix. Tell me, what did you think about this? It's still on my list to watch. I just haven't got to
Okay.
it.
I didn't remember if you had done this already, but
No. Our guest, the other,
you relate to the. Oh, then our guest did it.
yeah, our guest did it for us. Gosh, help me out. Names. The last one, yeah, Steve. Yes, I believe was the last one.
All right,
The last
Steve
guest, right?
Mesa.
Maybe, yes.
Steve Mason. Yeah, I think he loved it. He loved it more than I did. I liked it. I liked it. It's director Lin-Manuel Miranda, who actually does pop up in a cameo as well. Garfield's really good in it here. He balances the dramatic moments with the funny moments, and then he does really show that anxiety of. And I get it, man. I get it. As a 30, maybe 31 year old who like wants to do more and hasn't, and like that anxiety of, you know what I mean, of that kind of ticking clock. There you see Robin De Jesus. I thought he was fantastic in it. There's some great moments between them about, you know, artistic integrity or going for the job and like just living a good life. Like, hey man, just because I have a job and I can afford decent car and apartment doesn't make me bad that I gave up on, acting and whatnot, but doesn't make it bad that you're not giving up on artistic stuff. So there's a really good balance there. I'm not always a musical guy. For instance, we were talking recently on another podcast, and we all were kind of trashing on Les Mis, like that stuff like that doesn't get me here. And this is definitely I feel like if you're a musical lover, a Broadway lover, this is for you. If it's not, I don't think it's going to necessarily win you over. But it is a good one. It's an interesting one. I'd say 3. I could almost go 3.5, but for me, it was a 3-star movie. Like I said, I know some people would say blasphemy to that, and other people would agree with that. So that's me personally. I liked it, but I thought it was just enough and a little too kind of I don't want to say hokey is not the right word, but it's just not enough for me.
No, I don't think you can be judged on that because it's I don't know. I'm looking at it and I can see where you're going with it, and I can just see the previews and think that same. So I can't wait to see that. Also, I hate to say this on a footnote. I am hopefully, I'm in a lottery right now for tickets to win Evan Hansen seats, so I can go watch it live, and so I can't wait. So because you brought up Evan Hansen, I had no choice
Cool.
to
Rub it in there. You're gonna go see Evan Hansen. I see how it is.
well, I might not. I'm in a lottery, so if I get pulled, I get pulled. But it's cheap seats, man. I'm fine. I'm not paying 150 to see it. So
All right,
the next one.
go over to Injustice. On an alternate Earth, a Joker tricks Superman into killing Lois Lane, which sends the hero on a path of destruction. Superman decides to take control of Earth, and Batman and his allies must try to stop him. This stars the voices of Justin Hartley, Gillian Jacobs, Anson Mount, Janet Varney, Oliver Hudson, and Kevin Pollak. I'm behind on my DCs, but you're not because you got a couple of them. Talk to me about Injustice?
Well, it's based loosely. Well, it's based not loosely, but it's basically on the comic and video game Injustice: Gods Among Us. Basically, it's a if you played the game Injustice, it's more like a Mortal Kombat type deal. Superman turns completely evil. This is what would happen if Superman became the moral high ground, meaning he will kill you if just for looking at him funny. Basically, there's a scene in this film which by the way, Kevin Pollak plays the Joker, which is and it's amazing how that goes. And as you see right there, the Superman like impales his fist through the Joker's cavity and basically just pulls his heart right out because of him killing Lois Lane. And it's basically the telling of a superhero fallen from grace, and how he has to be basically beaten down almost to a bloody pulp to probably change his ways. But again, this is part of one of probably two they may have because the sequel of the game as well, they had an Injustice 2, and the comic still expands. So yeah, this is just on part of the origins for that. I found it immensely. See again that word. I found this movie to be very good, very bloody, and it's R-rated for the kids at home. So it's an R-rated cartoon because of the violence. There's a scene in which Superman. I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a scene in which Superman basically, let's just say, he's not coming back from what he has done, and he has no remorse for what he's done. So I other than that, it's a great. It's a good comic. I love the video game. 3.5 snowflakes for Injustice over there for DC. Again, they take their comics or their heroes, and they do put them in different positions more than Marvel. So that's where their A game is. We say it all the time on this podcast. DC Warner Brothers animation is always better than the live action. But I enjoyed it. So there you go. Watch Injustice. It's over on HBO Max, by Okay, the next one we're going to talk about, let me pull my notes up here. I saw this come out and I was like, oh no, really? And I had a feeling you would be watching it over there off of Netflix. It's called Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I was like, wait a minute, what are they doing? Well, after nearly 50 years of hiding, Leatherface returns to terrorize a group of idealistic, there we go, young friends who accidentally disrupt his carefully shielded world in a remote Texas town. This has Elsie Fisher, Sarah Yarkin, Mo Dunford, Jacob Lattimore, and Olwyn Fourier. What clean clothes, I think, on that last one. But tell me, what is going on here? They just is like somebody like just stumbles across him. The cops couldn't find him. All of a sudden, these little sleuths do.
All right, so I can explain the Halloween timelines. I think I can try to piece together the Terminator timelines. I don't care much about the Texas Chainsaw timelines because this is, I believe, a sequel to the first one because they do the exact same thing Halloween's done, where it's the last girl that survived the very first one, like the blonde from the 70s one where she's in the truck. Her right there. I believe so. That's her. She's still alive. She's been looking for him all these years. They never were able to find him. And she comes back later on in the film. It takes a while for her to actually get in the fucking film. And that's one of the subplots is that they do. It's another one of those. Ignore the sequels and the reboot and the prequel, and this is a sequel to the first one, I believe is what the timeline is. Anywho, as far as the film goes, there's some good, there's some bad. More bad than good, unfortunately. The good is it is bloody. If you are looking for a massacre, you're getting a massacre, and it's actually decent effects as well. Whichever one the Alexander Daddario one was, the effects were from a early 2000s video game, and it didn't hold up even then, let alone now. The effects turned out pretty good. So when people are getting sawed in half, yeah, it looks pretty good, even though I believe it's mostly CGI and not practical. I think we're both kind of practical guys, but they actually, the budget evidently was spent on CGI here. There are some good tense moments here. You kind of saw the beginning of the trailer of the one girl in a car crash. There's we've kind of seen it before. It's kind of very cliched of the one girl hiding underneath a bed, hiding underneath in a closet, trying to find the right time to try to escape the house.
It's almost similar to the Geico commercial. Let's go hide behind the chainsaws, instead of the nice.
I mean, she was in the wrong place at the wrong time, but I'm just saying we've seen that before, where they're trying to be quiet because the killer's in the room doing stuff and whatnot.
Can I ask one question? I got one question. Do they cover their mouth while he's in the room? How sure. they always do that.
That I can almost assuredly say yes. Without being known for sure, but that definitely comes to my mind that she does that. So I was kind of with it for a while. You don't really care about these characters. They don't get much of a backstory. The main two girls you mentioned are sisters, and a little bit of a backstory. There's even a really weird, tragic backstory that Elsie Fisher, who by the way is the girl from 8th grade, the Bo Burnham movie, Gucci. Oh, okay. Yeah, and she's now a couple years older. She's the main girl in this with her and her sister. The backstory of her is she survived a school shooting simply by kind of being afraid and just laying down most of the time. And that's kind of one of the things, later on in the movie, it's I got to get up this time. I just felt what a really weird, tragic, real life thing to pull in a fucking shitty horror movie. It's my opinion.
I have to, you know what? I haven't seen it. I agree wholeheartedly. I think it pulls some bullshit move on their case because
it kind of tries to give her a really good backstory, but it's you don't earn it, film. You don't own it. You do not earn it. And then so without spoiling it, the whole thing that I was saying before with the girl from the first movie, you can cut that out and it won't matter. And then the last 30 minutes is just stupid decision leading to another stupid decision so they can make this movie go longer. I can tell you off air if you want to hear some of the stupidity that happens, whatnot. So it went from mediocre bloody to just whatever, pretty quickly.
Just off the chain, bloody.
And I don't like the final scene. I don't like the what it ends on. I don't like it because again it stems also from more stupidity, and so. Like I said, it's enough to give it 2 stars. It's not a 1 or a 1.5, but it's not enough to recommend for me either here. We've actually, some of the newer ones, the Jessica Biel one, we've actually had better Texas Chainsaws recently, sadly. And I don't love those that much, but this is probably in the top 3 or 4 of the last 3 or 4. It's probably halfway in that category. So, 2 stars. Elsie Fisher, I hope you get some other things your way.
Yeah, I just saw that title and I was like, this can't be true. I mean, why would they do this? Why? And
it's a relatively probably cheap enough thing.
Well, the thing is, though, I look at it this way: out of all the horror slasher film guys, right, who go around and kill people, he has the noisiest fucking weapon. You know what I'm saying? He has the noisiest weapon, and he's trying to sneak up on you. When you he never has a fucking issue. I've always had a hard time, when I had a chainsaw, it's all, I can't get it going. Son of a bitch, you have time to run, people. Okay, the man hasn't turned on his chainsaw. He ain't gonna kill you because he can't use any other weapon, it seems. So he just.
There's some things I want to tell you too that go hand in hand with that. But it goes back to the stupidity. I don't want to ruin it. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I just never liked that because I thought, well, how the hell do you just not hear a chainsaw.
And there is several kills without the chainsaw. Just saying, he does murder you in other ways.
Well, I'm just saying that's his gimmick. So I'm just going with the gimmick part. Okay, the next film, as you said, we are going back to. It's your.
Yeah, let's
movie.
go back to some DC. Evidently, Justice Society, World War II. The Justice Society of America, a group of heroes aiding the Allies in World War II, makes an ally from the future who sends them on a history-changing adventure. This stars the voices of Pat Boomer, Chris Diamantopoulos, Stana Katic, Omid Abtahi, Darren Chris, and Ashley Lathorpe. You see what I did there, Dutch? I'm not confident in some of those names, but I said it confidently, like I did know how to pronounce it.
See, that's the thing. I feel like I'm going to offend these people if they watch the show and they're like, "What do you mean, Diamantopoulos?" Okay, and that's how I would have said it.
His name too, because I like that dude a lot, but fucking your last name's hard to say.
Yeah, it's so long. No reason. Stop it. Just call yourself Christopher D.
If I was making a movie, I'd be like, I'm not casting him. His name's too long. Why am I smoking? I don't smoke.
Because all casting directors smoke because they're so stressed.
Only when I cast is when I smoke.
Well, Matt Boomer,
Justice League or whatever it is, Justice Society.
Matt Boomer, he plays the Flash in present day, and he's helping Superman. And then the next thing you know, he flashes back to World War II, where the Justice Society of America is trying to help rid the world of evil Nazis. Yes, evil Nazis always make a play in these flashback films of DC. And why not? Because they're easy to hate and you want to kill them all. So they send heroes to do so. They have Hourglass Man. They have who only has an hour. By the way, once he drinks his little juice, he has an hour of super strength to be able to be able to work. So you better get a lot done within that hour. You have the Black Canary. You have, of course, Wonder Woman. You have Hawkman. You have Jason Garrett as the Flash of that time. Also, Superman is incognito as a press corps individual by the name of Shakespeare. So as you go through, this is the most disappointing one out of all the DCs that I've seen in a long time. I just felt kind of that it was like the JLA Society when they did one back in the day with the same almost premise where you got to see the Wonder Woman fall in love with her, the guy. I always want to say now Chris Pine. Wonder Woman just falls in love with Chris Pine all the time. But so anyway, that character, it just doesn't flow right. They have Aquaman come in to be the villain. He's brainwashed. Again, it felt like almost like a Flashpoint / JLA Society, mashup, and which it just didn't feel right when I watched it. It just felt like, okay, it has some decent premise, but it's not as good. Even they kind of make a joke saying, "Hey, I think I've been here before," with this type of thing, and it just didn't work. I thought this was probably one of the worst ones. It's a good effort. I love the animation style. Again, it has that anime like Archer feel still. And so I like the way they're going with their animation in these films lately. But yeah, it was not the best. 2.5 snowflakes on this one, and it's over on HBO Max. You can watch it. My next film I'm going to watch is the Bruce Lee one. With Bruce Wayne. So it'll be interesting. Batman and Bruce Lee team up. So it'll be interesting to see how that one goes. But again, you can watch all these over on HBO Max. Very easy to get. They have the DC channel on their little thing. And yeah. Get a chance. 2.5 is, like I said, you're gonna be disappointed. It's a longer one. It's like over an hour and a half, but I think it could have been cut maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes. You'd have been fine with whatever left over.
How do you cut 30 minutes? Not a movie then.
You can. It's an hour is a movie. An hour and 16 is a movie.
No.
It is. Trust me,
it's not.
It's okay. Look, we can have an argument off camera about these things.
I'm saying a lot of people I would look at that runtime and go, "There's no way I'm spending my money on this."
Well, it's like I said, it's only on HBO Max. You're not going to spend any.
No, it's on Blu-ray too. So.
Well, you could buy it on Blu-ray, or you
I'm
can
not
watch
going
it
to
for,
because you want to make it shorter.
or you can watch it on HBO Max. Don't start with me, son. 2.5 snowflakes. So let's get on to the next one. The last film on our little roster here is called Home Team. I believe it's on Netflix. 2 years of a Super Bowl after a Super Bowl win, when NFL head coach Steve Payton is suspended, he goes back to his hometown and finds himself reconnecting with his 12-year-old son by coaching his Pop Warner football team. This has Kevin James, Tyler Lautner. Wow, there's a sighting there. Rob Schneider, Jackie Sandler, Tate Tate. See, I do this all the time. Why do I do that? I'll just say it like I mean it. Tate Blum, Gary Valentine. I still fucked it. And Lavelle Crawford. What is that the kid? It looks like he's the one that was on the Mighty Ducks reboot show. But what do you have for me on this one? I just saw it and I thought, oh dear God, this looks almost like a bad. Is this a Happy Madison production?
Okay, did you not read the cast, Dutch? Kevin James, Schneider, and Jackie Sandler. If Jackie Sandler's in it, it's a Happy Madison production. Nobody's casting Jackie Sandler other than Adam Sandler.
Well, also Tyler Lautner is in it, so I was kind of confused.
Taylor.
Hey, Tyler Taylor. He should be happy I'm even fucking trying to say his name. What do you got?
Okay, so let's end on a high note with the best movie we reviewed tonight. All right.
Licorice Pizza?
True. No, we're past the best. You know what? I'm actually going to give this a better review than I ever thought I was going to, because this movie, while it's not good and I don't recommend it, I do recommend it more than some others. Mostly I actually disrecommended for this scene here that you're probably about to see. Oh, there you go. Okay. When it goes to the lowest common denominator jokes, because there's a good chunk of this movie that doesn't. You actually have a decent arc here of Kevin James, who hasn't been home recently. You know what I mean? He's always put his job first. His wife doesn't hate him, but they didn't last. But the son's starting to dislike him, and there's some good moments between like him and the son, and like Kevin James is actually putting in like a real human being performance here. And then Rob Schneider's kind of playing up a character. And then there's a scene where everyone's vomiting. And I mean everybody. And so the movie is very disheveled again here. You know what I mean? We've kind of seen it before where it's like it doesn't exactly know what it wants to be. Like I can almost imagine that they had a more serious script and then Happy Madison got it. And they were like, all right, this game right here, everyone vomits. And this character, the stepdad, let's make him a crazy hippie. And is Rob free? Just kidding. I know Rob's free. Let's put him in the movie. And so it's a 2-star movie for me. It's right in the vein of Texas Chainsaw, where like there's enough to where I feel like there's a better movie in here, but what you gave me, I can't give it anymore. And I don't really know if we had a great conclusion to even the relationships I mentioned. It just kind of gets better, and then then the game and it's over. So it's 2 stars. There's actually a decent movie I think in here somewhere. I think Kevin James actually does shine with what's given. He does actually well in this, and I actually don't even hate Schneider's character either, but just enough scenes in it that just took me back. Same thing with Texas Chainsaw. Like, all right, I'm on my way, 2.5. And then this one I was even like maybe even shit a 3, and then it just enough to where it's not. It's a 2. So 2 stars for this one.
Well, I hate to end the show on that. I mean, the reviews on that, not the show.
Well, we'll do a nice recap. Want to do a nice recap?
Yeah, let's do a nice recap, because I just we need to remember what we should watch and what we should avoid.
Although the recap's still going to end with that movie, so it's still ending bad. Recap for you. Nightmare Alley, decent positive reviews from both of us here. Go check that one out. Hey, you have a couple ways of checking out Nightmare Alley, by the way. HBO Max and Hulu, I believe, both are airing it. You got to go to the theater if you want to see Jackass Forever, you jackasses. I was the only one that was able to see it. Dutch is interested. He'll get to it sooner or later. But like I said, if you're a Jackass fan, check it out. I don't really feel like you necessarily need to see it in a theater. Like I said, there's a couple that I feel like maybe because of COVID, they probably had some bigger ideas that they weren't able to pull. But if you're a Jackass fan, see it whenever you want to see it. Dutch does give a pretty decent review to Uncharted. I give a positive enough review to Joe Bell. We both recommend I Want You Back. Dutch a little bit more, giving it, I believe, 4 stars for the rom-com I Want You Back, currently on Amazon Prime. Big old review of the week, both 4.5s. Highest scores of the week for Licorice Pizza, retroactively squeezing its way into not only the top 10 of last year for both of us, but the top 5 of the year for both of us here. So PTA putting in a good one here. Tick, tick, boom. Enough of a recommendation. 3 stars. I could see people liking it even more, though. I can understand why there is some love out there. Recommendation for Injustice from DC. Not enough to recommend Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What would you say if you had to, because you're right in the middle of Justice Society, yay or nay?
I said 2.5. So was it that it
You
wasn't
gotta
worth
decide.
it?
Is it enough of a 2.5 to say shit,
I
or
would say
thumbs up or thumbs down?
I don't want to say skip it, but it's not high on a priority list.
All righty. That means skip it. And home team is a skip it for me as well. Huh.
Yeah, I tell you. You know what though? We started out great, and then it was okay, and then it hit a peak, and then we kind of, like every movie sometimes just went downhill after that. So the last 3 films went off the chain, but that's fine. That's fine. Oh
All
man,
right. Well, we talked movies, Dutch. You want to talk a little bit about television?
yeah. Let's
And
talk about
when we say television, we mostly mean streaming. But
streaming. Yeah. Well, I don't think. Hold on. Let me see. You got
there's one.
one. You got one real network show on here, and
I have one network show, and then other things. Uh, let's see.
here. Okay. Before you start, though, I just got to
Yeah.
say something. I believe I might have missed a few shows on my list this week, so I'm gonna have to go back and look at what I've seen. I can't remember what I watch sometimes, and I don't write it down fast enough. So
Uh, so besides the last 2 that are yours, have you seen anything from my list?
yes, I have. I've seen the second show,
Just the second one.
and the one. Well, I'll get to the one that I have on the list to watch next, and it actually is going to be watched next. So
All right. Well, I just
I
want to know
can't.
because, like I said, I don't take as long for these as I do for the movies.
Yeah,
Um,
the woman show I'll be watching next.
all right, but you haven't yet. All right.
Haven't seen it yet. No.
All righty. So first, gonna talk over at Netflix. Ozark season 4, part 1. They're pulling the whole thing where you got to come back for part 2 later on. This was the one I was a little bit late to the party on, but I was told, hey, while season 1's nowhere near bad, it does really kind of ramp up, stick with it. And once I kind of got into it, I ran through like I think the last half of season 1 and then 2 and 3 all together. So now I am finally caught up, and now I'm the guy that has now ran through season 4, part 1 very quickly here as we try to get through what's going to happen to poor old Jason Bateman's family. And then I always forget the main girl from the Ozarks as well is fantastic. Yeah, I love watching her journey as well. So some heartbreaking stuff happened in season 3. We're getting the fallout from that in season 4. And yeah, it's a good stuff. One of my new favorite shows. Even though it's 4 seasons, my new favorite show. So yeah, big recommendation for Ozark. Hopefully, part 2 it's coming sooner than later. Let's see here. Oh, the one we can both talk about. I absolutely loved the premise of this. It's called Murderville. It's on Netflix. The premise is Will Arnett basically plays a character, and each a week he has a special detective with him, and they try to figure out who committed the murder. And here's the thing: the detective each week is played by an actor or an actress or even a sports person, and they don't have a script and they don't know the kind of crazy things that are going to happen around them. And then at the very end, and what I think was a fun add-on too, they actually decide who they think is the murderer. There's 3 main suspects, and they go, "It was them," and they explain why they think it's them, and you actually find out, hey, Conan O'Brien, Marshawn Lynch, Kumail Nanjiani, Sharon Stone, amongst others. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely wrong. I really enjoyed this series. Like I said, I love the concept. I thought everyone did good. I love that Sharon Stone kind of took it as like a serious acting challenge. I like some of the stuff with Conan, and then kind of my MVP, no pun intended, which is not as I did not think I was going to say this. Marshawn Lynch is really freaking charming and funny, and I thought had some of the best lines. And he's in
Yeah.
it, man. He is in it to have fun and go for it. And yeah, like I said, I went in for Conan, I went in for Kumail and Ken Jeong to a large degree, but I walked away going, man, somebody put Marshawn Lynch on SNL or something. Give him a sitcom because this dude's
Yeah.
funny.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think the MVP of the show is Marshawn Lynch. I actually recommended the show to a few friends, and I said watch them and just tell me who you think is going to be who is the best one out of the bunch. Everyone, like you and I, were surprised to see Marshawn Lynch. They love the Bagovich. And he goes, "What? No, bag a bitch." Like that. Because when I saw this, I'm gonna bag a bitch. Instead of bag a bitch. And the whole thing is just funny. Like I said, you were wanting to watch it for Zhang and O'Brien and a few others, but he just stole it. If anybody should get a nomination for best supporting actor, a guest star supporting actor. They do give those away.
No, well, you said supporting. I was gonna say,
no, not
a
guest star on for a supporting actor guest star. Marshawn Lynch should be nominated and probably given that damn Emmy because he deserves it. He really made that episode. I've never laughed harder in an episode of that whole season of that series than that episode. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, very good. So, yeah, it's a recommendation for that. Over at Hulu, the pretty decent casted the After Party. Dave Franco throws an after party after the big high school reunion.
It's Apple. Yeah.
What?
You said Hulu, so it's Apple. It's Apple.
No, I said grab a hula hoop and go to Apple TV.
Okay.
There's so many channels. It's Apple TV. Apple TV is the reason I actually subscribed back to this damn channel because I did not have an active subscription, but I wanted to see this show. And Dave Franco throws a big after party. You've got Sam Richardson is kind of the lead, and if you had to argue who's the lead here, Ben Schwartz is really funny. And one thing I like about this show is each episode you basically kind of take one of the characters and you're kind of getting a bit of a backstory. And not only a backstory, but sometimes you're seeing a scene you've already seen, but from a different perspective, or you're seeing, oh, okay, this person thought they were getting attacked, and really it was just coincidence, or this was really happening, and so it's really interesting. And sometimes there's a different kind of theme to the episode. For instance, Ben Schwartz breaks into song on more than one occasion. The last episode, which just dropped a day or two ago, is animated for half of the episode. So they also have fun with the format. It is kind of interesting each week where they kind of go with it and whatnot. So so I do like it. Ike Barinholtz, another one that I really like. So I'm enjoying it, wondering exactly what's going on. And Tiffany Haddish, I know you were on the fence of ever trying this because you don't want to mess with no Haddish because you ain't ready. But
no, I don't ever want to be ready for Tiffany Haddish.
But hold on. As I said to you off air once, stuff like this, stuff like The Last OG, she is more subdued, and also like this, I would say, because she's kind of the interstitial piecing together what's going on. She's the detective here. She's not as over the top or as prominent as everyone else here is. So still give it a shot. I would say if you can, the After Party.
Okay, I'll see what I can do. I do have Apple, so I'm not gonna say probably no, because I do love Apple. That's probably one of my newest favorite streaming television things though.
How can you say that? There's not enough on it.
Huh?
How can you say that? There's not enough on it.
Well, the quality of show or movie that they create are unbelievably good. But Macbeth is streaming on there right now, so I can't wait to get that one.
Weird.
Well, it's you should see this. It's but done by one of the Coen brothers, so that should interest you. This should interest you. And Denzel Washington has been nominated in that film and is a Best Picture nom, so you should watch it. Get over it. Get over it, friend. Get over it.
All right, next
Anyway.
up we got Pam and Tommy. Now we're going to Hulu here. The true story. Probably a lot of liberties were taken here. Sebastian Stan and I want to say Lily James, who does look a lot like Pamela Anderson. They did a really good job of that. Um, Tommy Lee kind of fucks over Seth Rogen's character, who later on steals from him, and then finds out he's going for money. Finds out he's got a little tape of theirs, and it's that infamous tape that was leaked out and sold in stores online. Still something you can find to this day, and it's interesting. I've heard Pamela Anderson won't watch this, but yet Tommy Lee's okay with it, which is funny because Tommy Lee's painted like a douchebag, and Pam's actually painted very nice in this movie. So in this TV show. So Pam, if you ever want to watch it, you're painted pretty well. Tommy Lee's painted like a giant douchebag. It does get kind of fantastical at points. I think I told you. I don't know if it was you I was selling or someone else, but
Yeah,
Tommy Lee
you
does
did tell me. Yeah.
does talk to his penis at one point. That is something that happens. But there's also some really nice moments of them, for when they first meet and them trying to have a kid and her, wanting more on Baywatch and just being, the hot chick actually wanting some more lines and whatnot. And it is kind of true. Like, unfortunately, I think especially at this time, a lot of people that ever saw the video probably didn't realize like how much of an invasion of privacy, how much it really is. Like they were really wronged on an emotional level too. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I do like it. It is something I'm sticking around for too. Cause I'm curious. I personally don't know much of the tale behind it, so I don't know the end of Rogan's character here or Nick Offerman, who's involved as well. So that's over on the Hulu. All right, two more things I'll talk about real quick. The woman in the house across the street from the girl in the window. This is the new Kristen Bell show. I only just started it. I wasn't. I even from the get go, I was a little confused as to is this trying to be a parody? Is this taking itself seriously? It does have a bit of sense of humor, but it is to a large degree, so far anyway, taking itself uh, relatively seriously, which is surprising because the way this is worded, it reminded me of Shriek if you know what it did last Friday the 13th. This felt like the knocked up virgin who felt super bad about it. Like this felt like a very on the nose. We're making fun of those Gone Girls, Woman in the Window type movies. But it's kind of also being one at the same time. So Kristen Bell actually I think is really good so far. She knows how to kind of walk that line of having a smart Veronica Mars like wit, if you will, and then but really being serious as well as some of the you're starting to find out more about her and her husband or maybe ex-husband and whatnot. So it's intriguing enough to where I do want to see a little bit more and see exactly where maybe it's going.
Yeah, this one interests me. It is on the list, and I probably will start it this week. So I'll have my 2 cents on that probably next time we speak in regards to shows.
And then finally, the last show I'll talk about.
I don't know why why you are such a glutton for these shows. You love these shows. I don't know why, but you do.
Okay, wait, hold on. I'm gonna fight you every time you say that shit, Dutch. I am not a glutton for these shows. I don't love reality shows. I like Big Brother. I don't know if it's a nostalgia thing. This was one of the ones me and my parents would watch. I like seeing people kind of backstab each other. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's the one game show, even as a fat man, I could do 90% of it. Because it's them that's just sleeping in a house for a good chunk of it. Although there is there definitely is many physical challenges as well. So maybe I wouldn't be that good at it. But yes, it is Celebrity Big Brother is on now. You got Misha Tate, UFC fighter. What's his face? I forget what his name is. Lamar Odom does not know how the game fucking works. He's one of the funniest characters because he is constantly questioning, well, who's today's eliminations, and like doesn't know what's going on. He straight up told Misha Tate, like, as he's like biting his fingernails too, live on camera, he's like, yeah, I was gonna really try to eliminate you, but no one else wanted to. And she's like, why would you tell me that? You don't tell the people you wanted them out of the house. Chris Kirkpatrick, Chris Kattan from SNL. I don't know. It's fun. It's on like 3 times a week. I didn't see last night's episode. We'll probably watch it when we're done.
The funny thing is, though, I really don't understand. I'm not judging you on this one, but I'm judging the people who cast this celebrity. They stretch that word so much anymore. They do stretch it very much. To me, I remember I saw one person besides Odom, Lamar Odom, who used to be a basketball player. But I saw Todd Bridges. Now that's the only two I would know out of that whole house.
I said Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC.
I would not have been able to pick him out at a lineup.
Chris Kattan from SNL. You're welcome.
I may have picked him out. So there's only 3 out of that whole house. And Chris Kattan hasn't been relative for years.
Hold on. There's a model that I can't remember her name.
A household name it is.
You also know you got to remember, especially for shows like this, you got to find celebrities that go, yes, I have 12 weeks off for the next 3 months. You know what I mean? Like, you can't find busy people because they're like, no, I got a movie shooting in 3 weeks. Like, you got to find somebody that has like 3 months for free.
Well, that's true. I guess you got to find somebody who really isn't going to be doing anything in the near. You can't have.
I laugh at the Masked Singer. Every once in a while, they'll be like, could that be Britney? Oh, it might have been Jennifer Lawrence. I'm like, motherfucker, Jennifer Lawrence is not showing up weekly as an elephant in a pink skirt. Like, no.
Is that Adele?
It's gonna be the third Destiny's Child, or you know what I mean, or like a football player that retired 4 years ago. Like, calm down. It's no one big because they're not showing up every week.
It's not gonna be Michael Bublé hanging out in a damn.
No, he's got touring to do. He's still actually doing shit.
Yeah. My next show, I finally get to see this. Tell me if you saw it yet. Is Jack Reacher. This is basically he's a military police investigator who basically leaves the military for civilian life, and he's falsely accused of murder in this small Georgia town, in which he was basically just going there to it turns out just to be a figure out a bluesman's life that was cut short. His brother told him about it, so he thought, okay, let me jump a bus from Tampa to this little small town, and since he's the outsider, they think he's the one who's murdering everybody in it, when it's probably within its own borders of who's been doing it. So this is a Lee Child's thing. If you've ever seen it, Tom Cruise was Jack Reacher in 2 unsuccessful films, or maybe semi-successful. So.
Okay, the first one's successful. That's why they did a second.
Well, I'm saying as for the character, it wasn't well received, really, because of a 5'2". I'm just giving.
A lot of people that knew the character said he wasn't right because the character is an imposing, tall, buff guy, and Tom Cruise is short and skinny.
Well, a 6'5", 200 some odd pound jacked individual,
right. Like a dude that looks like this Jack Reacher.
Oh, absolutely. This Jack Reacher fits the bill 100%. Lee Childs, who wrote the book, said that Alan Richardson is the dude to play the character. We have Malcolm Goldwyn, who's in from iZombie, if you like him. Willis Fitzgerald also is in this film. Kristen Cruick from Smallville. It's an 8-episode arc. It moves quickly. I binged it all in one night. I was at 2:00 in the morning watching the last one, so it was 3 by the time I got done. But it was just a fun, energetic, action-packed, suspenseful, done right. The body count, though, is way too high for a small town. That's just my opinion. Way too high. And they're not bringing in the federal outside investigators. Which you find out why. But I enjoyed this arc. This covers 1 book of the Jack Reacher series. If they continue to do this, you're going to have a few seasons. Hopefully Prime. I believe they just did a green light a second season to be done. for this series. And I cannot wait for more of this to keep coming. Jack Reacher is just fantastic to watch over there on Prime. So get over there, give it a shot. The next one is the second season over there on Netflix of Sweet Magnolias. Yeah, the Sweet Magnolias are back, everybody. Picking up from the climax of last year of an accident in which the sons were in. I like this show. It's a sweet show. It's a tender show. Chris Klein's character, though, oh, he has some troubles in the second season. And if you're a big Chris Klein fan, you don't see him as much, but when you do, he's getting the shit reamed out of him. But I'm not saying it as getting beaten up, but just let's just say he's just not going to win Father of the Year anytime soon. I found it a great second season. They left it off for where you want to have a third season. Like I said, it's a wholesome show in which these three women get together every evening, it seems to be, to have what they call a pour out session, in which they have nothing but margaritas and they talk about their days and how it's going and the life and their families and the trials and tribulations of just real life. And it's just a good show. Like I said, it's a sweet show. So if you like a good, sweet, tender show, a family show, this is one for you over there on Netflix. It has everything you need to get involved. And that's all I got for you. Sweet Magnolias, season 2, Netflix.
Sounds good to me. Some good shows there. Sounds like pretty much as unlike TV, I feel like we're more picky as to what we watch. So pretty much recommendations for everything we've talked about, even Celebrity Big Brother recommendations all aboard for TV. Well, Dutch, we alluded to some of our favorite movies earlier, talking about how Licorice Pizza would slide into our top 5s. Well, we're not talking about our top 5 or top 10s. We're not talking about our top 20s. For me personally, we're not even talking about our top 110s. We're talking about the bottom of the barrel of last year. Obviously, we've had some hiatuses and whatnot, so I wanted to get this earlier for the end of February, but I still want to talk about the trash that leaked out in the year 2021. Art is subjective. If you like these movies, God bless you. Like what you like. But I'm gonna shit on some movies. So yeah, I'm not being mean to anybody, but you can do better.
I'm just gonna preface this. I don't have any honorable mentions because God knows you get. I've looked at my list and I thought, these are the 10 worst that I don't want to even sully the names of the honorable mentions because and some of these, I'll be honest, that are on this list, very successful in some people's eyes. And, so I'm not gonna, but again, like you said, we're just gonna talk about some crap. And we're gonna shovel upon their dead carcasses. Okay. So what about you? Give us your thing, or do you want me to go first?
Whatever's good, buddy. What you want to do?
You know what? You go first because you have honourable mentions. I want to know what
I've got some honorable mentions.
I gotta hear these.
So I'll do my honorables in 10, and we'll go back and forth like we always do. So
yes,
this is the top 10 worst movies of 2022 in our humble opinion. My honorable mentions, I mentioned it before, I forgot what it was called. Excuse me. Infinite with Mark Wahlberg. There's Someone Inside Your House, horror flick on Netflix. Mother Android with Chloe Grace Moretz on Hulu. Good on Paper with Liza Schlesinger on Netflix. And I also had to nominate the kind of boring Cry Macho with Clint Eastwood, a movie that never really found out where it wanted to go or do. That's my honorable mentions. My number 10. We're actually going back to Amazon Prime because there's some good things about a rom-com earlier. Let's go with the movie that's trying to be sultry and unpredictable. The Voyeurs is what I'm going to go with for my number 10 here. You've got it's a movie that wants to do a twist upon a twist upon a twist and end on a dark note. And when you don't believe twist number 1, you're not going to believe twist number 2 or 3. And it's trying to be sexy, and you've got sexy people in it. You casted a bunch of good-looking people that do know how to act. I'm not necessarily knocking them, but it's just it's unbelievable. It's trying to be sultry and pulpy, and it just doesn't work. from the get go. It's a bit of a bummer on top of a bummer too towards the end. So I really disliked it to a decent degree. Um, and it's not because my abs aren't as defined as that guy's. Number 10, The Voyeurs.
Okay, well, I don't have any honorable mentions, so I'm just going to dive into my top 10. My number 10, uh, I didn't like it, didn't care for it, just to rehash a bunch of movies put together, and Dwayne The Rock Johnson could not save it. It was the Jungle Cruise movie. I hated this movie. It's one of the worst movies that The Rock has ever put out. Is to me, it just seemed as if he just half-assed his role. You know, there was only one person in it that actually felt like showed up to actually act. You had Plemons that just was all his character was a mess. And I just don't understand how, yeah, it made some money. Don't get me wrong, and they're going to make a sequel. Yes, they are. But again, I think Jack Whitehall was the only one who actually showed up to act, and everyone else decided to just phone in things. Emily Blunt did whatever she could with that part. But I think Jack Whitehall was the only thing that was actually interesting about the movie. Paul Giamatti's character was actually interesting, but they completely just disregarded him right away. It just was a mess. But Plemons' character was just unredeemable. Any way you put him, he was just I don't know what was going on in this film. It was just a mess from the minute go. And trust me, it's going to get worse as I move on. But the Jungle Cruise movie is my number 10.
Actually, I don't mind that movie. It's all right.
I told you what I don't. It's subjective.
Alrighty, my number 9. I'm trying to think of how long I could go on, because I can do a nice diatribe about how this movie fails. My number 9 is Home Sweet Home Alone over on Disney Plus, the sixth Home Alone movie. Now, it's funny. I've had a good discussion recently. The tricky thing about streaming now is we never know to a degree when we're getting a streaming movie like a Red Notice or like the good rom-com we talked about earlier, I Want You Back,
Yep.
or when we're getting a directed DVD movie. And that's what I think happened here, because when the last couple of Home Alones came out, they were mediocre, they were forgotten about, no one really reviewed them. This one is getting a lot of talk about because you hear Disney Plus, you see the cast. It's got the kid from Jojo Rabbit as the main kid. Ellie Kemper, Rob Delaney, Kenan Thompson pops up. You think, oh, this must be a level above, and it's really not. It was played by COVID, so some of it's not its problems, but that's not an excuse. Either hold off or I don't know what, because
How about write a script?
Hmm?
How about write a script?
Well, that's what I mean. I don't know, because I know like you wasted the kid. The kid was he sold the show in Jojo Rabbit. We were both very happy. I was open to this being fine because you had a fun, charming kid, and then you didn't give him much to do. He's kind of a little douchey bad kid anyway. Um, you give the robbers a backstory that is just them trying to save their home from their cute little kids, and they're good people, and they think
Yeah.
the kid robbed from them, and then you torture them for the next hour. Literally, multiple times they would have been murdered, which is of course a problem from the old movies where it's like, yeah, that's death. That would have been death. And so you feel weird watching them getting tortured, because at least in the other ones, like they are trying to rob an innocent family. They are trying to maybe hurt this kid. These are two people that have no harm intended, just want their shit back so they can save
Yeah.
their home.
Yeah.
They set up a whole thing with the brother that doesn't get called upon, even though he literally says, "All right, I'll go back and check," and then doesn't. That's what I mean. I don't know if there was more intended. Chris Parnell disappears because I heard in real life he just didn't want to he didn't want to quarantine for weeks at a time away from his family, so he just said nope. So his character disappears. That's why if you hear him when he's in the bathroom, it's because he legit just wouldn't come to work that day. The final climatic scene where the mother gets to him, like in the first movie, your fucking heart flutters. That music plays.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. You don't give a shit here, because one, it's too late because she's not saving him from anything, and two, you just don't care enough. And again, I've heard the mother's a good actress as well, but you wouldn't know it from this. Not that she's bad, but just that she has nothing to do. And her journey is not fun either. The first movie, you got her doing John Candy and begging the one couple, like, please. Like, there's nothing really fun for her to do here. So, yeah, this just. I had hopes. I wasn't mad at it being remade. I figured it was going to get a sequel sooner or later anyway. Disney is going hardcore with sequels, as you know, from animation to everything. So, but yeah, this just fails, man. This was just bad idea upon non-fleshed out idea, and I'm tired. That should take over.
Yeah. My number 9 makes a lot of bank. We know there's one more coming, but again, I'll be there too, unfortunately, because I'm just a glutton for fucking punishment. And you know which one I may be talking about. It's called F9: The Fast Saga. Yes, F9 with Vin Diesel begging everybody to come back, begging The Rock, please come back. I want to be a better movie. No, sir, you cannot have a better movie. This movie was trash. I watched it twice. I thought maybe I missed something the first time. With you to watch it. Yes, I didn't miss anything. It was still trash, gutter trash, and that's all it's going to ever be. Unfortunately, John Cena couldn't even bring his charisma to this part. Couldn't bring anything. They broke the law of physics every time. How can a Jeep go 90 degrees or so up a broken ladder? How can an Acura, and I'm probably wrong with the make of the car, go into space? I don't know. I don't care. I hated this film. Tyrese even makes fun of it during the movie, saying, look, I have been shot. We've been blown up. I should be dead by now. Yes, Tyrese, you should be dead. They should have killed you off a few sequels back, but they can't because no one ever wants to come back to this goddamn cesspool of a goddamn series because no one cares. The Rock has said, I'm done with you. Jason Statham, I'm done with you. Everybody's done with you. But yet it makes money. I'm not sure what's going on, but people, look, I am one of these things.
Yeah,
buddy. I have to ask. Stop. Okay, we got one more left. I'm going to be in it because God bless America. I am a glutton for punishment, and I'm with you, Jordan, because I watch everything that comes out, and I can't help it. I try to anyway, and I just feel like if these guys somehow do not colonize Mars in this last film, I think we're screwed. I think the whole movie has just been a laugh at us the whole time because I'm thinking that's where we're going, right? We're going to Mars next, so we got to save the world from some tidal wave in Fast 9 or Fast 40 or whatever the hell the damn number is. But I'm just saying, I'm tired of these movies. I'm tired of it. It should go away. It should go away. It's so bad that one of the leads had to die to get away from this film. And yes, I know that was a bad thing to say, but it happens. Everyone runs away from these things. Gal Gadot is never coming back.
Represent the views of a show about shows.
Gal Gadot is never coming back, people. Okay, yeah, they brought the other guy, Han, back. I think that's his name. Possibly. Yes, it was Han, right? Yes. See, I unfortunately these things have seeped into my recesses of my Jarul never came back. Okay.
Well, that was Jarul's fault.
Well, yes, and he's very happy. He probably never has now come back. So anyway,
Jarul, who's performing at my next bar mitzvah, I think he wishes he came back.
He probably is. But yes, I hated F9, the Fast Saga, with a fiery passion, but not as fiery as it's gonna get later on in this top 10 of chaos.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't mind it making your list. It's not on mine because I just feel like there's worse, but it is easily my least favorite since I don't know 2 or 3. Yeah, it's the worst of the last several for sure. Coming in where are we at 8? Number 8. Yes. You know, he gave him some plugs before about starting franchise after franchise, but not everything deserves a franchise, my friend. And I know you're with me on this. Chaos Walking with our buddy Tom Holland and is that Daisy Ridley?
Yeah. Yes.
Another one who Daisy, you got potential, my friend. Please don't pull a Halle Berry and start picking the wrong scripts too much because Holland's bouncing back already. Uncharted seems to be having decent enough reviews to where it's a good bounce back. But yeah, this movie is just the premise is all right, but like even that, I feel like maybe played it because it reminded me of almost like After Earth, that Will Smith movie of just like it's a dull ass premise, because like it makes it kind of like too serious and the whole voices thing never totally takes off and it tries to create a unique world, but it's not unique enough. It's not interesting enough. It's very much drags. I don't know how long it is, but however long it is, it's too long. Yeah, it was just kind of it's a messy flick. It's one that I guess was also kind of done for a minute, but they kind of held it back and try to maybe re-edit it around. But sometimes Hollywood, if you got a bad flick, I don't care how much re-edits you want to do, you ain't saving it. They were not able to save this one, despite some talented people in front of the camera. Chaos walking.
We'll be probably talking about that one a little later on in my top 10 catastrophe lists. My number 8. See the way number 8. Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City made the list because it was just an awful movie again. All these are going to be awful. I just the ranking of awful, it gets worse for me every time I keep looking at this list, and I'm like, God, I can't wait. This one I can't even want to talk about it any more than I've already talked about. This one is basically a movie with no plot. Well, it has a plot. I'm not sure what it is, but it also has a couple characters that I could care less about. And you used to like these characters, Leon and all these other ones, but the problem is they're not going to die, and there's no suspense throughout this whole film, and it just seems as if they said, hey, we're going to have this movie because the world is clamoring for this for some reason. But I'm waiting for the Netflix one to come out, and it's coming out later on this year. We'll see how that one goes. But as for this one, it just disappointed on so many levels. So many levels. Practical effects were not that great. The effects alone weren't that great. Just everything about it was just, to me, it felt rushed. It felt as if they made this in a closet or only on maybe two things of sets, and they decided to expand those sets just by changing a few things, a poster board around it. I just didn't like it. It just was just god awful, and it didn't make sense. Very disjointed film. I'm done.
Well,
Resident
the
Evil.
bad part is we're not done because I swear this is my number 7. Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City. Let's keep rolling this bean. Yeah, man, you set it up nicely. I don't hate any of the Mila Djokovic's, and sadly, I do kind of miss them now because at least
they're my guilty pleasure.
they kind of knew what they were and like
Yeah.
had decent like kind of practical, sometimes CGI effects. The CGI here, I mean, I actually praise Texas Chainsaw, and this fucking fails. This looks like a Resident Evil 3 for PlayStation 2, maybe even worse. I don't know. Like it doesn't mesh. You're never really scared, and then like you say, you don't really care enough for the characters too. It's kind of jumbling between a handful of them. They don't have any kind of like the same personalities, and yeah, it's another just kind of messy, very forgettable film. It takes a while to ramp up too. That first half an hour, you're waiting for fucking something to happen, and yeah, it was a major letdown because, like I said, I didn't love the other ones, but I was actually relatively like, okay, let's reboot it, get a different director, get a different cast. Like I'm cool with that. Zombies, you can do a good zombie flick, but this is not it for me, man. I did not like it either, obviously.
Yeah, that's man. Well, let's just take a break here for a second. Let's go to number 7. I watched this over here on what do you call it? Netflix. It's called Finding Ona. And to me, this was a wannabe Goonies update. I really don't like the idea of stealing movies and then just deciding to call it something different. And then expect
is this it?
let me see. I believe it is. Yes, it is. Yes,
Okay.
it's two kids from Brooklyn move out to their grandfather's island shack in Hawaii, and they go on a Goonies-esque adventure. They do try to bring in Data, the guy Watanabe who played, I believe, is Data. I'm sorry, Kehu Kwan, who shows up for like 2 seconds. Just to give you that Goonies nostalgia, possible stamp of approval. But all it is just a paint by numbers recreation of a movie that was beloved, but just with by them saying, "Well, look, we could do it with Pacific Islanders." Nothing against that. I would love love an adventure that's original, or at least has some of its own bindings of what it could be. There was nothing of the sort here. It's the family, the brother, the sister, they don't get along, but then one pulls the other into the shenanigans, a la the Goonies. So yeah, at the end of the day, it just doesn't work. It doesn't make me care. And in some of where the bodies of the ghost, I believe, are still there. I don't know. It's just a bunch of thoughts, but without any real feeling for and you don't when you're watching these things, if you don't watch the Goonies now, you feel for the kids. You root for the children. This one, I was hoping everyone would just somehow fall down a hole and no one would ever know about it, because it was that much of I didn't like the children, I didn't like the parents, and I just didn't like the bad guys in this film as well. Just an awful movie. Just skip it over there on Netflix if you got a chance. If it comes up on your recommended, they don't know you enough over
I don't even know
Netflix
what
yet.
you were talking about. That's why I had to say, is this right?
Yeah, because I had to look at it. I was like, yeah, okay, because it's a very forgettable movie unless you just remind me, oh, hey, it's the Hawaiian Goonies. That's all it is.
All right. Well,
So,
hey, you guys, let's go to number 6. As always, I have a very love-hate relationship with this man named Eric Andre, and he made a mostly prank movie. It's taken a few years to make, called Bad Trip, over at Netflix. It's a love-hate relationship because there's a couple scenes in this that I actually kind of really enjoy. Sometimes it's based on someone's reaction. As I said, it's a hidden video prank thing, and there's one great scene where he's begging the guy to let him into the art exhibit because he's there to meet the love of his life. And at first, it's a real life security guard, and he's very rough. No, no, I can't let you in. And then he gives the like typical speech, and then he gets to actually see the guy's look on his face like, can't believe I'm fucking doing this, but he lets him in. And so there's weird little sweet moments like that. And then he breaks out into song at one point, and just the looks on people's faces as he's singing this grand old musical in a mall. And then there's a lot that just doesn't work, and is why it's number 6 on my list. I hate Tiffany Haddish in this, so you'll never see it. But trust me,
no.
she, her character, and I don't know, some people might like this more than me. Some people might say I'm being a little rough on this, but there's just so many. Their penises are attached together. He gets raped by a gorilla. That's just literally what the scene is. I'm not trying to be vulgar. Just a lot of stuff that doesn't work. That I just kind of grown at, and I was just kind of it just didn't work for me to a large degree. I just thought funnier things could happen, and I don't know. I like I said, some stuff Eric Andre I'm really into, and some stuff I usually, and it's usually pieces on the street that I dislike of his, because it's just the lowest common denominator of I'm going to do something gross and see what people say or do. So, not for me personally.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I just, like I said, I don't have nothing personal against him, Tiffany Haddish, but I like one thing that she was in. Remember the mobster one.
Yeah, you like that more than me, yeah.
Yeah, I like that a little bit more, but yeah, Tiffany Haddish, I still run away from anytime I see her. The next one, we love him on this show. We love him. I'm gonna go watch the movie that he just came out with this past week. Liam Neeson. We all love Liam Neeson. I'm gonna have to. I love Liam Neeson. I can't help it. I'm gonna have to. But
you're admitting that one of his movies is bad right now.
This one is an awful film. It's called The Ice Road. I think when I first described it, I said something about I don't know. I can't remember what I described, but I remember it was a funny line. I just don't remember my own funny lines anymore. Yeah, because this is just a road that should never have been traveled down by poor Liam Neeson. It's about a guy who is gonna go and save some diamond miners. They're up in Canada, but the only way to get there is on a 18 wheeler ice road trucking. And as they're going there, they find out that there has been a traitor amongst them. But yet, I don't understand any of this because this 18 wheeler is like unstoppable. I mean, it flips, they fix it, it flips, they fix it, it runs out of gas, it does a lot of things, but it's a very very bad action film, and you can only do so much with a semi in a cab as you go down an ice road. And the plot was very thin. The script is very thin. Everything about it is just it doesn't work. I'm just looking at some of these reviews of it. I think the world agrees with me on this one. It's not one of his top notch. It's it just doesn't make sense of how a company would try to spend money to get people there, but yet try to kill everybody to save the miners. It's a total different weird way of doing it. But I just felt it was an hour and a half, and I thought, well, okay, it sounds like it might be nice action type film. Was not. I'm exhausted. Ice Road, number 6. I'm sorry, Liam. I'm hoping your backlight, was it a Blacklight, I think is the name of this new movie that came out. I can't wait to see it.
I've heard nothing good. Maybe they're wrong, but
No, I
I've
don't think
heard
it's
mixed
going to be
reviews
as bad as it sounds, but I'm just going to go to it.
about it. Well, speaking of not good things, we are now in the top half of our list. So if you thought things were bad already, you got another thing coming. Including one I mentioned, Home Sweet Home Alone. I've got a shout out though to Tom and Jerry. Now, a common argument towards having movies like this on the list is they're not made for us. No one's studio execs aren't going in saying, "How do I get 30, 40-year-old men and women into this theater, into this recliner in a streamer?" But we also have really good animated movies and really good kids movies that know how to say something and not just be eye candy. And poor Rob Delaney is in both of these shit fests. I just realized that. This thing is just, it's not funny. I don't find either character very funny in this. Michael Pena sometimes is too over the top. I don't like Michael Pena in this. Chloe Grace Moretz's motivations aren't very good. And yeah, I just found it dull, never funny. A really forgettable one. Even my niece, this is one that just in and out. It's not something that's ever held on or been a rewatch, even for her. And it should be something that's glamoring for her. And yeah, I just this is very nothing to me and not very good. Tom and Jerry.
Well, you didn't think Colin Jost did a hell of a damn acting job in this one? I thought, him riding the elephant or something close to that was pretty good. No?
No.
Or you don't remember him at all in that film, do you?
I'm nothing to say. No, and no one's very good. No, Colin Jost he's not even really an actor.
I know, but he's in the movie. Anyway, my number 5. This took one of my characters as a kid who I loved reading about in the comics. Again, he never spoke, so maybe that's why I loved him. But number 5, Snake Eyes. Yeah, Snake Eyes, a plot that just why is it no one can figure out what to do with G.I. Joe? Literally, there's nothing anyone can figure out. Make a movie palatable for G.I. Joe. The second G.I. Joe wasn't as good, but it had The Rock in it. So that kind of made it a little better for yourself. And this movie was a lot of bark, coming from a chihuahua, basically, is what to me this came out of. The fight scenes were kind of contrived. Seen a lot of. uh, and it was a and you're supposed to like the hero, and you don't like the hero. The hero is just totally not you kind of like Storm Shadow at the end of the day, more than you do Snake Eyes, and that's not how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to think, okay, Snake Eyes is honest, he's trustworthy, he's everything that you're supposed to have in a character. Yet he's in this one, he is a liar, he is a thief, and he will backstab you as fast as can be. And I'm not sure how that could ever be an origin of any star or any hero in the beginning. So other than it being thin, poorly acted, uh, and the shaky cam of a fight scene. I love those shaky cams because you can't ever figure out what's going on in them, but there's action. I'm guessing. Snake Eyes is my number 5 of my Camelot.
It didn't make mine, but it very much could have. Yeah, this you kind of said a really weird character decisions here that make you go, why are you painting him that way? And yeah, I've always argued too. Like I don't really know if Snake Eyes is his own movie, and it could be, but this doesn't help that argument. Yeah, it wasn't very good. Something I was very very late to the party on as well, and I was fine that I had waited that long. Number 4 for me, Dutch.
What?
Sometimes an actor waits years to make his directorial debut because he's there acting and he's taking up all these notes, and he wants to make sure that when he steps behind the camera, he has something to say and do, a Ben
Yes.
Affleck, if you will, you know. And then
Yeah.
sometimes their first film is a pile of shit. Justin Long, I'm talking to you. I love you, Justin Long. I love you, Melanie Linsky. I love you, Judy Greer. But man, he just had nothing to work with in this script. Lady of the Manor, which you can find on Amazon Prime. From the get-go, you don't like Melanie Linsky's character. There's even a subplot of her getting in trouble for child molestation.
Oh, Jesus.
More than once, and it's actually
Oh,
kind of how the movie ends. The last joke it has, and Ryan
oh,
Phillippe's a piece of shit as well. And there's montages, which to me this was the epitome of we don't really have that long of a script and much to say or do. Let's do some montages, baby. And
yep.
there's no reason why Justin Long's character would ever fall for this horrible person. But it's a movie, and they gotta. Why? Because they gotta. So they gotta. And they
Thank
do.
God.
And it makes no sense. Justin Long deserves so much better. And I mean that from the character standpoint. Because Melanie Linsky can be cool, but not in this. It's just badly written. It's not funny.
He wrote this though, right?
Who wrote it with his brother, I believe, and I really
Oh,
hate dogging it, but I kind of got it because I just thought it was
you got
such
him.
an unfunny movie here. Doesn't use its plot very well either. We're both fans of that Ghost show on CBS,
Oh,
which knew how
absolutely.
to use its plot, and that's kind of even what I really thought like this might kind of be in the essence of, and it's not as far as quality wise by any means. Yeah, I was expecting not to love this movie based on the trailer, but I walked out really disliking it. Lady of the Manor, what you got for number 4?
Well, my number 4, I was so jazzed. I was so hyped. I was so wanting for the one. I wanted to hear Mr. Anderson and just love it. I couldn't. We're talking the Matrix 4. Matrix 4 was such the drizzling shits. I'm still trying to figure out why did they love, to mock a film of the film that they're making. Let's make a movie. I don't understand why we're making a movie of a reboot, right? Well, Warner Brothers wanted to make it, so we're just going to do the game anyway. You're making fun of a movie that's an icon. It was a groundbreaking, film, and then now you've just done nothing but just smatter and smear its good name with feces. And not nothing against Keanu Reeves or any of the cast. They did what was good for Keanu still did what Keanu needed to do in this film. He did his job. Everyone's did their job according to plan. I'm thinking it's just the execution of that plan for the director and of course the writing being as bad as it is, and unfortunately very misguided as well, in which we all thought, okay, they're going to be in this film, but they're not going to be the stars in this film. They're going to let the young kids come up, and that's where they lost it completely. Whenever they just decided, okay, let's just do a retread of the same, say, Keanu's, character Neo, and let him be the hero instead of saying bring on the newbies, so we can probably maybe have more fresh life within this franchise. And I have fear, and they're not. Hopefully, they're never going to do this one again because it takes so badly. It to me, it just didn't make any sense. Is he in reality? Is he not in reality? But we find that he's not in reality because he's always been in the Matrix this whole time, right? And I think that's how it all works out. But they do also at the very end that last little hunt scene of them doing cat video things and shit. And I'm like, I don't understand any of this. Why did they even have one of those little scenes at the end? I just stay and watch the credits. I just happened upon that, so it wasn't like I wait around. I just love to watch the credits, like you do. Um, I just found it just a contrived, very full of themselves, type of movie. And they just couldn't wait just to make a paycheck at this point. And I don't, like I said, I don't think Keanu Reeves meant to be this bad, but it just turned out that bad.
I don't have it on my list, but I definitely don't mind it being on yours. There's enough to where it didn't make my list. But yeah, if you talk about also top and unnecessary or or letdowns, this is definitely super high because yeah, why they felt the need to come back for this. Yeah, the way they handled a lot of things, even the new Anderson, or not the new Anderson, the new Agent Smith is, I thought it was done in a weird way. The
Yeah.
action's not as good as some of the older ones. Like yeah, everything's just not as good here. And yeah,
There was potential. It just didn't happen because I guess they were too full. The Wachowski sister was just too big of an ego for herself, I think, when she wrote this and directed it. So that's just how I feel. But the other one didn't want to even part of it. Go
yeah, it's
figure.
only the one sister there. Yeah, for this one.
Yeah, yeah.
So coming in my number three, it's on Amazon Prime. Some have even higher. Music. I said before for things like Joe Bell that I'll give it some slack because I feel in their heart it means well and it's an important story to tell. And I do feel that in its heart, music was trying to tell a good story, but it fails. Um, if you do study, I'm not too adept on it, but they don't handle it well. Being on the spectrum and everything with here, and also too as a movie, it's just not handled well. It does certain things simply to get a rise out of you. It'll introduce a character just to create some sort of sad moment, and again boil down into these montages and Kate Hudson again, kind of talking about Lady of the Manor. Her relationship is not really earned. She's a character that's kind of shitty at first, and then just kind of turns on a dime very quickly. And at the very end, you're supposed to kind of care. And yeah, it doesn't handle the main topic very well, and it doesn't even handle it as a movie very well. It falls apart on pretty much every level. So I gotta shout out to the music.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just got to say this. I'm so happy you did the heavy lifting on these because some of these I just wasn't going to watch to begin with, but then you helped me make that decision. Well, I was like, well, maybe I should watch it. But then you told me how bad it was. And I said, you know what? He solidified that for me. I'm glad that it held up because this is one that I was hoping was on your list because I have not heard anything ever positive about it. But it was kind of an interesting sounding film when I heard about it, but then you watched it and you confirmed what my real inner thoughts were. No, so thank you. And if anybody is still on the fence, they should listen to you again and just listen again and listen again. That'll be their music. My number three, it really was disappointing for me over there on Netflix. I love the first one. The second one built a little bit of steam, but the third one, my God, the sales went out of the kissing boost gas. I mean, it was one of the my and I love these. You know that. I was always a big fan of the kissing booth, right? But part three came out, and I have no idea what they were thinking. It was nothing. It lost its track. It lost its face. It lost everything about the charm. I just felt really bad. But again, they made this film at the same time, so I could see where they were, why they did it. I just don't. I don't. Man, I was very upset. Joey King, a great little actress, just not put. I think in the third one she really didn't care about liking this film either. I mean, it just was not a lot of effort by anyone in this film. You could see, they were filming the second one and the third one at the same time, so maybe they got confused what script they were working on. I don't know. But at the end of the day, it was probably one of the biggest and most awful sequels I've ever seen in my entire existence, because it just doesn't make sense of where the characters were in part two to make them to be where they were in part three. So it doesn't make sense, and it really disappointed me a lot. Like I said, they tried to do their best. The actors do, and you feel bad for actors in a bad script. You know what I'm saying? You will them to do better, to make the script better, but no matter how hard they try, it looks worse because they're trying to make up for the lack of something, and that's what it feels like in this film. And I am just googling. I googled it right now, and the Rotten Tomatoes is 25%. So I am right on target with my number three, The Kissing Booth 3.
All right. My next nomination, number two for me, is in the horror subcategory of "For the love of God, something happened! Please do something! Anything! Please, movie, do something!" False Positive, which you can find over on Hulu. She's actually in that show, The After Party. You may know her from Broad City, and I'm all about comedic actors and actresses, going out of their comfort zone of the thing you know them for and try something different. A lot of Glazer, big fans. I was happy to see her in this more dramatic / horror role. Justin Theroux, Pierce Brosnan. So you have some decent people in this. But fucking nothing happens, man. It gets a little bonkers in like the last 5-10 minutes, and maybe it's trying to say something. I tried looking it up and seeing other reviews of like, what am I missing here? What is it trying to say or teach or do? But it just doesn't. It doesn't work. I'm sorry. It's boring. Yeah, that's, I don't know. Maybe a short film would have worked, but when you're trying to make it go, an hour 30, hour 40, maybe it's an hour 20. I don't remember how long this thing is, but it just dragged for so long. Just
Yeah.
a couple times her staring into the black void, and oh, maybe my husband's doing something, but maybe not. I don't know. And yeah, I just remember there's a couple films that are in this category. There's an Amanda Seyfried one on Netflix too that kind of fits in the same category of move along, come on, do something, please. So yeah, False Positive.
Man, I tell you, my number two is He's All That. Yes, he's all that over there on Netflix because he ain't all that. Trust me, it's not all that of a good film. Rachel Lee Cook and Matthew Lillard are brought back in. I was hoping for a sequel somehow, and a tie-in somehow to the original, but no, they did not do that. They just suckered me in because of nostalgia, thinking, well, maybe we're gonna have a decent look. And again, Matthew Lillard and Rachel Lee Cook were not in it that often. If they
And
were,
they are not the same people. So
No, they are not.
this
Yeah.
trailer very much sets you up for like, oh, it's a sequel. It's not. So fuck you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When I went in,
And
I
not
was
fuck
hoping
you.
for that.
Fuck the movie, by the way.
Well, no, I understand. Fuck me for even watching it at this point. But let me say, Addison Rae, her first ever appearance in a movie. Unfortunately, it shouldn't even be her second appearance coming up. But they are going to make a sequel, I think, to this thing, or at least something that they're going to do at Netflix for her. She's an awful Instagrammer to begin with, I guess. So she's trying to turn this homely child in who basically his real life is a model. So I'm thinking, what the hell? You'd always thought, okay, the ugly guy, he's going to be a pretty dude, right? Well, he's already a kind of an ugly, pretty dude, but then they just make him look prettier. You know what I'm saying? It never works in this one. The charm of the original She's All That is lacking because number one, you hate the protagonist in this film. You hate the antagonist in this film, and you hate every other character within this film because everyone has some other underlying issue. And I think all these kids need one thing: take a break from social media. Just take a break. Not watch. Don't take a break from watching our show. Okay, that's what I'm trying to get at. Don't. I'm just saying for this show, take a break to get off your Instagrams, get off your Twitters, get off all that stuff. You can still watch show about shows on YouTube. That's fine. But yeah, this film is you never care about any of the characters, and you don't care if they got together or if they break up. And that is why I give this my number two. He's All That, which is he's not, but He's All That is number two on this list of awful fucking films that we're doing tonight. And yes, I have never cursed as much as possible, but this list is giving me anxieties about how bad movies
I
can
do
be.
apologize. I've definitely made this a very R-rated episode.
We're no monetary services for us.
We are now down to the nitty and the gritty, the number one worst movie of 2021, in our humble opinions. Dutch, you might be mad at me for this one because, well, hear me out. Okay. You're going to say, and it's very true, why did I even bother? Why, Jordan, why? You knew what you were going to get. You knew what you were going to get. Because for the first time ever on this show, my number one is a previous number one in the franchise. My number one is Meet the Blacks 2, The House Next Door.
You're right. Why the hell did you even try?
I think just so I could talk about it right now. Mike Epps, who can be good as like a character actor.
In short bursts.
And maybe that's the problem here because he is not likable in this. Nobody is. It's not funny. It started off with a couple of okay jokes, and then it just gets horrible the longer it goes on. Shoehorned in cameos that also aren't funny. It's a dreadful series. It's a dreadful movie. It lives up to the first one. It's bad. I'm sorry. It's bad. I'll go away now.
Don't apologize for hating a Cat Williams film. Everyone hates Cat Williams. Everyone hates a few Cat others.
Williams. He's the best part of Father Figures.
Oh dear God! You know what? Another dreadful dreck. Look, my number one. You talked about it. It had a great scene. It had a great bunch of people. I'm looking at the cast right now. Cynthia Erivo, right? Fantastic actress. Erivo, fantastic. Mads Mikkelsen, right? Daisy Ridley, Tom Holland. Yeah. Oh. You put it too low on your goddamn list. Number one is Chaos Walking. The first time out of all of 2021 that I wanted to get all walking out the theater, but you convinced me to stay. You convinced me to stay to watch this dreck. And I got to tell you, it was nothing but the drizzle and garbage that we've all loved to mock. But unfortunately, I was there paying money out of my own pocket. See, usually I'm on a pass of some sort. But this time we had to go to a theater because the regular theater was shut down. So we went to this other theater that was open, and we actually had to pay the money for it. And here I am watching this movie, having thoughts. Here's how I think about how I would do it. Here I am. I'm just gonna play a scene, right? This is how annoying it was. Hey, don't do it, man. She's hot in those jeans. I can't wait to fuck her. I'm just being a friend. I can't wait to rape her. And that's how that works. And now that's how this film was throughout the whole movie in my brain, because it was like you had regular dialogue with the inner dialogue competing for screen time. There is never a time where that is ever a good thing. I have never thought, let me hear four different thoughts in one time. And guess what? They have a whole village of it too. And only the men are affected. So, yeah. Okay. So we all get to hear our inner evil thoughts. Okay. We don't want to hear those thoughts. No one wants to hear it. No one in the theater wanted to hear it, but they all stayed, and we all were abused people. I think we should get a class action lawsuit against this film because it was that bad of a time, of an experience, and I felt as if I was cheated from my daily existence. Just for my 2 hours of trying to enjoy a movie without really enjoying any of it. And you're right, they brought the cast back because they had to do a massive reshoot. Now, when they do that, that is a sign. When you have 16 writers on a film, that is a sign. And that is exactly what happened. Even Avery has to come into this film because he's like, look, I understand, Dutch. I understand where you're coming from. It's an awful film. And, thank goodness they decided not to make this the franchise, because they were going to make two others if this was a success. And I am so glad that it is a 22% on the old tomato rotten. And just all of it alone, from chemistry, did not mash. The expectations of any of this just was awful. I think the dog might have been the best thing of the film. I'm not sure, but I believe the dog dies. So even he wanted out of the film after being on the set for a few times. I just don't understand why they made this film, why they thought they could still make this film, and why they kept pushing this film. I think Daisy Ridley pushed herself away. Even when she was promoting this film, she was still doing, I think, Star Wars at the time, and they had to call her back during Star Wars to do this part. I don't understand any of this movie to this day. Even Nick Jonas, I don't even remember Nick Jonas in this film, but he was there, I guess. Um, is the worst film that I have seen in a long time, my friend. I think I gave this a half a star, or a half a snowflake, whatever we call these things anymore. But this is the most exhausting film that I've ever watched in my life, in a long time. And I try to stay away from films like this. But again, with a cast that I just named you, with some just good cast, I got this. Hollywood, I deserve better. Please do better. Maybe a better something. I don't know. Just give me something better. That's all I ask. Okay, Jordan, you want to recap?
Let's go do that garbage one more quick time. Top 10 more to 2022. Number 10, The Voyeurs. 9, Home Sweet Home Alone. 8, Chaos Walking. 7, Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City. 6, Bad Trip. 5, Tom and Jerry. 4, Lady of the Manor. 3, Music. 2, False Positive. And number 1, Meet the Blacks 2, House Next Door.
Well, my number 10 is Jungle Cruise. Number 9, F9, The Fast Saga. Number 8, Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City. Number 7, Finding Ona. Number 6, The Ice Road. Number 5, Snake Eyes. Number 4, Matrix 4. Number 3, The Kissing Booth 3. Number 2, He's All That. And number 1, Chaos Walking. Yes, that just exhausts me. Even just thinking about the film, I'll never even think about watching it again. And it's just that bad. Oh God, it's awful. Anyway, so that was our top 10 worst disturbing films of the year for both of us. I hope you enjoyed that list of films. If you want to watch them, hey, have at it. If you like them, tell us what you think about it down in the comments below. If you like any of these, and tell us why. And what kind of despicable human being would actually care to like any of these 10? I'm just saying, why? Why? Anyway, okay. So I'm sorry being hostile. It's a hostile list, okay? I can't help it. But yeah, you know what? Jordan, I need you to help me here, buddy. I need you to help me decompress. I need you to help me decompress because it's that time for the fun part of the show, my favorite part of the show, where I get to listen to you breathe and exalt great news and notable stuff. It's time for news and notable stuff with Avery.
Hello, let me put him down. Alrighty, so let's go here now. Christopher Nolan is putting together one hell of a cast for his upcoming film, Oppenheimer. He just added Dane DeHaan and already casted as Robert Downey Jr., Matt Damon, Emily Blunt, Cillian Murphy, Rami Malek, and Florence Pugh. You mentioned it before, it is indeed true. Already renewed for season 2 at Amazon. Reacher. Season 3 will see Secrets of Sulphur Springs over at Disney. We were talking about some more stuff about the Razzies recently coming out with some nominations. I'll just do the worst picture of the year. Diana the Musical, Infinite, which I talked about, Karen, Space Jam, A New Legacy, which I thought about, but I thought the other two were worse in my opinion. I chuckled more at Space Jam than I did the other two. And Woman in the Window. I thought was kind of train wrecky, but still more interesting than the ones I talked about. And then, of course, my favorite new category that they have is work performance by Bruce Willis in a Bruce Willis movie. Nominated 8 movies the dude came out with last year. 8 movies that I don't think we saw any of, and we see a lot of movies. American Seed, Apex, Cosmic Sin, Deadlock, Fortress, Midnight in the Sawgrass, Out of Death, Survive the Game. You ever see the TV show Weeds?
Yes.
You know how the baby store is like a front for all the drug running. You think Bruce Willis just does like drug running and he makes movies to front it? Because like, what the fuck, Bruce? Do you not have Die Hard money? All right.
No. You know what? The thing about Bruce Willis is that he'll take any paycheck anytime because no one really likes him anymore. He's burned a lot of bridges. So what he does is he says, "Hey, what made the movie DVD Trek or VOD thing do you have?" And I can make about a couple $100,000 without even having to think, because he doesn't emote. He doesn't do anything anymore. He just shows up. At least our fan favorite here, Nicolas Cage, tries in everything he does.
Ted Lasso season 3 will delay for some shooting delays, but we're hoping that it won't delay them too long. Hurricane is set as an Anna Cole Smith biopic with Betty Gilpin of Glow set to play Anna. The National Treasure Disney Plus show has a new lead. It ain't Nicolas Cage. It's
what?
Beta Zeta, Catherine Zeta-Jones. A new pilot at CW has been ordered called Gotham Knights about Bruce Wayne's son and others who team up. Some exciting news for you. Jason Statham, Meg 2 production has begun.
Yay!
That. And then finally, the last thing I have here is, we did talk about Netflix sending us those new updates that they're raising their price, but they also released a big old trailer of all their upcoming films this year. They're releasing like a movie every week, and they dropped their big old Netflix penis on us, and they showed us clips with Ryan Reynolds, Jamie Foxx, Jennifer Lopez, Ryan Gosling, Chris Hemsworth, Jason Momoa, Lindsay Lohan, Tyler Perry, Marlon Wayans, Chris Evans, Henry Cavill, Quinn Latifah, Adam Sandler, Anthony Mackie, Mark Wahlberg, Kevin Hart, Jessica Chastain, Penelope Cruz, Mila Kunis, Eddie Murphy, Jonah Hill, Jennifer Louis-Dreyfus, Halle Berry, Mark Ruffalo, Charlize Theron, Daniel Craig, Kate Hudson, and Dave Bautista, amongst many others. Of course, that last one was the Knives Out 2 little glimpse we got, which is pretty cool. So,
I can't wait for that.
Raising their prices, but I do want to see that Adam Sandler movie and Knives Out 2 and a lot of those other ones. So I guess they got my subscription for the most part.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and don't forget we have I think you said it. Stranger Things is coming back out May 27th. I can't wait.
There's more than that. Yeah, I was just naming the new movies that I'm not even talking about. Like, yeah, we got more Ozark this year, Stranger Things. Oh yeah, there's plenty of reasons.
Yeah. So at least. Oh, and don't forget, Dave Chappelle has 4 new specials to come on Netflix. 4. So hey, whatever controversy he has, they're gonna still give him more money, more money. That's why I'm okay with spending I guess my money toward that, because they give Dave Chappelle a platform in which he cannot be canceled from. It looks like here it says back in I'm looking at something here. They paid him signed a $20 million deal for each special he released last in 2016. So that's not chump change. So if he's getting that now, he may be getting more because inflation, my friends. You can't buy a sandwich anymore for more than $3. So any less, I guess. But yeah, did you? Oh, question for you, because I don't really have much news. I don't have anything else to add. But what I do have. Did you watch the last episode of Peacemaker?
Yes, I finished Peacemaker. Yes, sir.
Okay, I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't, but I loved the ending of that episode. Did you not love the episode ending?
Yeah, I go with
Yeah.
yeah, talking like the last shot. Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah. I thought it was hilarious. Yeah, because it just I don't know where it means. Then is it in the continuity stream now? Is it part of the continuity of the DC films with Zack Snyder?
Oh, that last scene. I was thinking of a different scene.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah. There's a great little yeah. I
Yeah,
won't say more if anyone that hasn't seen it, but yeah.
and also don't forget
They
Peacemaker.
mentioned before they're in the universe, so it's
Yeah.
like Deadpool. Like, will we ever see it? I don't know.
Well, don't forget they did just re-up season 2 for Peacemaker, so HBO Max has signed that up. So I'm excited to see John Cena put back on the Peacemaker outfit and go back out there and do it again. And I can't wait for it. Hopefully, we have the same cast. I'm not sure. We'll see as
Yeah,
it goes
I'm
along.
down for pretty much everyone that made it through the show to come
Yeah,
back. I'd love to see some more Vigilante. I think it got to give us some more Vigilante.
yeah.
Whether or not they'll make any change ups, we'll see.
I love that Viola Davis shows up a few times. I just like that because to me it adds a lot more street cred to this universe as well. So as Amanda Waller, I just loved it. So I just thought I'd share that with you. Oh, estimates right now they're saying that Uncharted will be making 45 million in its opening day. They thought 30 million. Now they're looking at 45. So big ups for Mr. Holland and coming out with his own new franchise. I don't know. Are you going to watch Dog? By the way, I was just going to ask you about that. Were you
I
going
mean,
to
it's
try to
another
look?
one where it's like someday probably.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no. I'm just wondering because I'm looking at the movies that are out right now. I want to watch The King is in the Mermaid thing, whatever that one's about. I think next week comes out Cyrano de Bergerac. I'm Cyrano de Bergerac. I'm sorry.
It's just
With
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying that. Cyrano, yeah.
I believe the Kingsman's already out on not on even VOD. It's on like Hulu or something.
Yeah, it's on Hulu and HBO Max. So 2 more spots. So why would you own one if you got both? If they're going to start sharing, that's gonna be different. Also, Hulu.
Is this the Uncharted that just made a lot of money?
Uh, Let me see. No, that is the Nathan Fillion Uncharted, which is, by the way, who I would have loved to seen play Nathan Drake, but he's too old. He's admitted that to play this character. But yeah, I would have loved to seen him at a younger age when he wanted to play him when the game first came out, because he is the perfect Nathan Drake setup for it. And kudos to him for just having a fun time, just doing one of these fan game films. So I did watch that. It is a good one. And but yeah, Nathan Fillion, geez, he's my first for everything. You know what I'm saying? He's my first for every movie choice. Back in the day, for just a different type of character. So, but other than that, man, what else you got going? Anything else interesting going on? Oh, don't forget we have our Oscar show. We're gonna do an Oscar special. Us two just talk about Oscars. The Oscar show coming up in March. I think that's going to be we're gonna film this this Monday or coming up soon, and so that'll be fun. I can't wait for that. So how are we coming along with the Oscar watch? Are we doing pretty good?
Yeah, not too shabby.
Yeah, I got four more to go, I think, out of the 10. So to cover that, and I got a few others that I have to get to. So I got a lot of watching to do. Pretty soon, I'll be just hunkered down like I'm watching homework. And I can't wait. Also, oh, did you see who's going to be hosting the Oscars this year?
Is it me?
Well, they thought about it, but then they said, "Let's go in a more, they were going to put us out there, but they didn't. They didn't like us because something about me and the Zack Snyder feud just didn't work. So
You
that's how
screwed
we
me
got.
again, Dutch. You screwed me again.
I can't help it. I told him I'll have lunch with him, but he doesn't want to return my phone calls. Um, yeah, I even told him I'd buy that. We'd
All
meet
right,
at
who's
the.
hosting? Get to the point.
No, get to the point. Wanda Sykes.
Okay.
Who else? Give me the other comedians.
I
There's
don't
another
know.
comedian out there.
Bill Burr,
The blonde girl, the blonde one.
Amy Schumer.
There you go, Amy Schumer, and I can't remember the third because I'm just that bad with names. But they're going with an all female hosting gig this year.
Dude, don't give me half news, or I'll go Google it real quick.
This is why you should be doing these news things.
Yeah, but you don't. Okay, but then I skip it or look up info.
Okay, fine. I'll come up with it right now. 2 seconds. Regina Hall, Amy Schumer, and Wanda Sykes are
Okay.
all hosting the Oscars this year, the 94th Academy Awards. So there you go. Sorry, I'm bad with names, so I couldn't come up. It took me a while to come up with the blonde one. I got Wanda Sykes right out the box. So let's not think. I love Wanda Sykes. So I think she's
Yeah,
hilarious.
I think that's kind of interesting to have a. Have we had 3 hosts? I know we've tried doing 2. Have we ever
Well,
had 3?
yeah, we've gone hostless and we've gone twosomes. So this is the first time we've had
Not
3.
bad. I
So
mean,
it'll be
they're all
interesting.
charming, and 2 out of the 3 are just straight up comedians. So
Yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully, Amy Schumer is funny. Lately I've seen her last stand up. It wasn't as funny. But Wanda Sykes, funny as always. I saw her last stand up and she was hilarious. Regina Hall, a great actress. So that's why they put her up in there. So I just find it a good look, but at the same time I like the idea of not having posts as well. I liked it last year when it was kind of free form.
I mean, I don't know, man. I love me a you know what I mean, like a Billy Crystal. So like, if it works, it really works, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But we'll get more Oscar talking on the next Oscar show, which we will be doing shortly. So I can't wait to get your views on who was snubbed in your mind and what movie will win the Oscar according to you. And I can't wait to find this out. And for me as well, I don't know what Oscar I want to see yet. I gotta go through these 4. The only one I can't find right now is Drive My Car. I need to find out where I can see that. And I don't know if you'd want to go watch it. It's a subtitled film. It's a Japanese film.
I'm too busy
But
watching horror remakes on Netflix.
yeah, I don't see it local in the theater. So it's I don't. Oh well, you know what? It might be available. It says here on March 2nd on HBO Max. Possible. It's a possibility, they say. So that I can wait. I can wait till March 2nd, right? But not for our show because we're going to cover it without it. But I will finally get to see it. I think at least finally it looks like it. So there you go. Anyway, other than that, that's all I got, buddy. I got nothing more other than just rambling on.
No, I mean, it's good to end it, man. We have some good movie reviews, talk some TV, talk some bad movies, and talk about what's coming up in the future.
Yeah. So I can't wait. And hopefully we'll be on a regular schedule soon because now we got movies coming out. we're going to be more motivated. And I
I
can't.
know I'm probably not next episode, but 2 episodes away from a good old Batman review.
Ah, yes, Batman. You'll see it probably before I do, which is fantastic for you. But yeah, my workplace makes me work late. It does, and I don't like it. I want to go Riddler on their ass. What do you think?
No.
Okay, okay. I won't then. I won't. I won't go. I'll go Penguin. Oh well, brother. As I always say, I enjoy this show with you. Better without you, but I love it with you. I'm just oh, love it. So anyway, for myself and for the Jordan Owens right next to me, I don't know which side. I think you're gonna be on that side of me.
I will be, yeah.
Yeah, this side.
No,
So
yeah.
Mr. Owens, I want you to know that I'm very happy that you're my co-host.
And I'm very happy that you're mine and that you're doing the show at least 2 more episodes.
Okay. Well, anyway, I can't wait. 100 episodes coming up soon. And I can't wait to see who my stand-in is that night.
All right, so for Josh McAllister, this was JPO Jordan Mears Owens. Thank you. Like, subscribe, tell a friend, hit the notifications, email your second grade teacher, tell her thank you for teaching me how to be a man, and most importantly, call your grandpa. He misses you. He's lonely, and you don't call him enough. Thank you.
My second grade teacher was Mr. Woodworth. I hated that fucker.